follow the trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
I'm now away to get me suit measured. Yes!
What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Well, I asked him which way he thinks it should be done. We get down to it. And then we talk about it for 20 minutes. And then we decide I was right.
Messi! You could drop a tarantula into his shorts and he'll still be cool.
You can't win anything with kids.
Dennis Bergkamp, Dennis Bergkamp, Dennis Bergkamp, Dennis Bergkamp, Dennis Bergkamp, Dennis Bergkamp, Dennis Bergkamp.
I think I'm a special one.
I'm the normal one.
Honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it. As electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub, my friend. It's Torres. Unbelievable. This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sacked in the Morning, the football podcast that's always got its finger on the pulse.
And it's about football.
Yeah, and it's going to do a season prediction 3 months into the season.
Yeah.
That's how we do.
Prediction.
It's not really a recap, though, is
A
it?
season review
Yeah.
/ predictions of what we think will happen for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but considering that we're going to do our predictions and that we made them at the start of...
Yeah, but we can change.
September.
I've changed some of them already. You know.
You broke the rules already,
I
then.
was going
I
to say,
said
you
Liverpool are
just
going to
broke
win the
rules,
league at
Tom.
the start of the season. I'm freaking changing that.
Okay, anyway. Everyone, shut up, because...
Mate, if you had Liverpool to win the league at the start of the season, that just makes you silly.
He never listens to me, does he? My name is Richard. I am your host. I am joined, as always, by my two guests. Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hey,
And Phelan. Hello, Phelan.
How's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
edit
Good.
that out.
Right. And we're also joined by a new guest. He will be joining us for most episodes from now on, and that is my good friend Danny. Hello, Danny. How are you?
Hey, Richie, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. Danny, you need to be introduced, my good friend, because everyone knows everything about us. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Don't know
They know everything about you, mate. They're listening to you constantly. You're Statman Tom.
everything.
Everything, yeah. So, how do I know you, Danny? Where are you from? What's your footballing philosophy? What team do you support?
Okay, so basically me and Richie met back in Armenia a couple of years ago when we were getting our UEFA B coaching license together. I was their beloved translator / friend / guide, you know. So I'm a football coach. I used to be a football coach. I'm changing my career now, but I used to coach. I've worked as a coach for more than 7-8 years now in Kuwait, and then moved to Armenia in a professional club here with their academy system. Yeah, I guess that's the basics about me, you know. And like the more we talk, the more we get to know each other. Like I'm sure they're gonna find out more information about me.
Okay, and just fill us in. What team do you support, Danny?
I'm a Real Madrid supporter since I was a child. I was a kid, but when it comes to the Premier League, I support United. So yeah.
Yeah. What United did we say? Newcastle United, wasn't it? Leeds United,
Manchester.
West Ham United.
There's only one United.
No, there isn't, my friend. There is only one Hotspur.
Sure.
That used to be our motto. for ages.
Should be really.
Who cares, really?
Shut up, man. What is it? Were you such
Why
a?
does everyone care about that?
You're still outnumbered. We're still 2 to 1 to 1 feeling. So you know.
Well,
we're
they're
still,
in Arsenal, so who cares?
whatever. Eh? What's your footballing philosophy, Danny? How
Tom,
do
so
you
much
think
hostility,
football should
man.
be played? He's always hostile to me, man. He just
I know, but
he can't
it
stand.
just seems more of it today.
He can't stand that I'm the star. You know, that's the thing, is he knows he's falling down the pecking order. The fans aren't buying as many of his merchandise anymore. It's all about me.
merchandise?
Did you not
What
know?
you're saying anymore, Tom.
See, you don't even have merchandise. That's why no one knows you, man. I've got loads of merch out there.
Yeah,
Always selling it for the little kiddies.
sure. Okay then.
Hustle, loyalty, respect.
Pretty
Buy
close.
my tea towel. Language.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, Danny, what's your footballing philosophy?
Yeah.
How do you like football to be played?
Well, I love the possession game, when you keep possession and then sometimes work on the counter attacks, high pressing football, try to win the ball as fast as you can and then just keep it, move the opposition left to right, and then once you find that pocket of space, utilize the space, go attack, That's my philosophy. That's my philosophy as a coach. That's how I like to see football play,
Yeah, I know. You're boring and you buy into
How's
the
that
hype.
boring, mate?
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow.
Counter-attack football,
Sorry,
bro.
did we
Counter-attack
not
football.
have this discussion a few weeks ago that Barcelona team and that Spain team were two of the most boring teams to watch in history?
That's just one example, 2 examples.
Out of,
Loads of examples.
come on, give me another one. Come on.
Awesome.
Mate, let me give you an example, okay? Counter-attack
From,
football, right?
2000s.
Madrid is the kings of counter-attack. How many Champions
Yeah.
Leagues do we have?
Yeah. But that's not what you
How many
said.
He did. He said
No,
counter-
but
No, he
that's what I'm
didn't.
saying.
He
That's
said
what-
possession football.
he did say
Yeah,
counter.
but I did
Did he?
say.
Oh, I didn't
say
hear that.
counter-attack. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I apologise. I didn't.
No
hear
worries. No worries.
that. I'm
I
in the
forgive you.
wrong. I just heard the possession football. So that's what I heard and carried on with.
Counter attacking and high press with a bit of possession mixed in.
That was probably the point where I was snoring. I didn't hear that. Anyway, welcome, Danny, to Sacked in the Morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be here.
Okay. So, moving into our topic for this week, guys. You trying to still work out how the camera works?
Yeah.
Moving into the topic for this week. As I said, we are now currently almost in November, and we have decided that we're going to do our 2022-2023 predictions. So, yeah, like I said, finger on the pulse, guys. Good work. But basically, this is a thing that me and Tom started a while back. We started writing down our predictions. We put a £10 bet on it. Whoever gets the most points, the most correct answers at the end of the season, wins the money. Phelan joined a couple of years ago, and then that was COVID. That was COVID year, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, so it all kind of went a bit tits up. Danny, you're a bit late to the party, so feel free to chip in at any point you want, but we're not going to take your money, okay? Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But so we have a few categories. The categories are the top 4 in the Premier League, who we think is going to be champions as well. Top 4 can be in any order. We usually tend to try and put it in some kind of order. But as long as you get the 4 teams in the top 4 in any order, that's 1 point. Who the champions are, who the relegated teams are, who the promoted teams are from the championship. Again, any order, doesn't matter. We don't have to pick champion, second, and playoff. It can just be any 3. That's fine. Golden Boot. We tend to pick 5 players in that category. If any one of them is a Golden Boot winner, then you get the point for that. PFA Player of the Year. First to be sacked, but we'll get to that as we go through at the moment. FA Cup, League Cup winners, Champions League winners, and Ballon d'Or winner as well. So
that's already happened, though, isn't it?
No, it happens in December, doesn't it?
No, it
Benzema.
already happened.
Well,
It's
Benzema
already
just
been
won
done.
Ballon d'Or, right?
Yeah.
Did it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benzema won the Ballon d'Or.
It was early with this year, wasn't it?
There's a
swear it
World
was in
Cup in the middle,
December.
remember?
Ah,
there's a World Cup?
yeah. Okay, good point.
So it's
Okay,
throw
well,
what you would assume the order of stuff to be has been thrown out the window. A little
Right,
bit why
well,
we're a bit late for this one as well, because, we just wanted to cover the World Cup first.
yeah, a little bit. We covered the World Cup first, which has pushed us back a little bit. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Did we all do a Ballon d'Or winner though? By the way.
Yeah, I wrote mine down.
Okay, so that's
I
fine.
did.
So we wrote that anyway. But obviously, if that's already happened, then it's already happened.
Yes, next year, but-
Can I know what you guys like? Who did you guys vote for?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll do it anyway. We'll get to that anyway. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll just have to
Sounds
remember
good,
when
sounds
it
good.
comes to end of the season. So yeah, those are our categories usually. So that is and those are the rules that we tend to play by. So as I said, a couple of the categories, Ballon d'Or winner now is also one of those, are a little bit iffy and up in the air. The other one, we'll start off with this one because it is one that's a little bit skew-iffed, is the first manager sacked. So we're obviously recording this in end of October, just before the beginning of November. Before then, there's been quite a few sackings, has there not, gentlemen? So we changed it from first to be sacked to next to be sacked, and now we've pretty much just called this category off.
Yeah, that's
So,
an edge point at the moment. Isn't it?
yeah, we'll discuss who we've all put down and if we've got any honourable mentions or anything like that. But yeah, this category's pretty much been scratched for all of us now. So all of our predictions should have been from the beginning of September. However, Tom's already said he's changed his. I'm pretty sure Phelan has changed his at some point as well, which means I think I'm the only one who's actually stuck by the rules.
Okay.
No, I've only changed the order of my top four.
So you haven't changed any of the actual top four, no?
No, just the order
Just
of the
the
top
order.
four.
Okay. See, I've also just noticed that he's watching TV,
Yeah.
remembering he's being recorded for a video that might go up on YouTube.
It's a free country, mate.
Yeah. How many YouTube videos do you want to watch where the person talking is like, yeah. Well, it's just.
They do channels dedicated to people watching TV.
That's not one of these channels, though.
And I'm listening to your monologue, so
People
just
react
checking that
to football on TV.
Okay, all right. Well, Phelan's he's our newsman. He's going to keep us live, up to date with the scores that are currently happening in the league at the moment, which you're not going to care about because this isn't coming out for another 4 weeks yet.
Right. Okay.
We're on the ball. We're on the pace, man.
Yeah.
Finger on the pulse. Okay, so gentlemen, sacked manager, pretty much a scuff. But let's talk about who you guys thought. Let's start off with Tom.
I think I was probably leaning towards Frank Lampard at the start of the season. But he's done reasonably well.
Picked up a little bit.
So
past
it
couple
picked
of
up.
games,
Yeah, the last few games they've definitely picked up. Brendan Rodgers was another one that was on the radar at the start of the season, but again they've stuck with him. I've got 3 written down that I had. We start doing this, and Steven Gerrard's the only one that's actually been sacked so far. Hassan Hutel was another one that I thought maybe, but it's again still hanging in there.
Yeah, he was kind of an honourable mention for me as well. Hassan Hutel, Lampard.
His name
was
always
another
seems to come up, and then he always seems to somehow survive it.
Do you know what I think it is? I think the problem that I was thinking was that Southampton are going to look at the situation eventually and think, okay, sure, he keeps keeping us up, but we're not progressing.
I also wonder if it's a point of they're looking at it, go, who else could we get that would do any better right now?
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
I think that's a big shout as well.
I don't see them getting
Because
much
for the
better than
first
they already
time
are.
like this season, you're actually hearing of managers turning jobs down.
Yep.
More so than I've probably heard in many other seasons gone by. I mean, take Wolves just literally within the last 7 days, they've approached someone and they got turned down.
Who did they approach?
And they approached the
And
QPR
they-
manager, didn't they?
Yeah, they approached him and QPR
Approached some
gave
of
permission
people.
and he turned it down.
Okay.
So you're seeing that more and more now. It's not just teams approaching someone to speak to their manager, talk to the manager goes. There is a bit more of people turning jobs down. I wonder if Southampton are looking at going, there's nobody else around right now that could possibly do any better.
Do you think he could survive a third 9-0 though?
No, no, absolutely not. That's probably going to have to go in some form of Guinness World Record at that point.
3 9-0 defeats. Yeah, you'd think so, right?
Yeah.
That would be pretty appalling. So who did you actually have down as your pick?
Well, at the start of the season.
At the start of the season.
Lampard.
Lampard was your pick, yeah. Okay. Phelan, what were you thinking for this?
So I had, like Tom, I had 3. So I had Cooper at Forest, especially after they bought a completely new playing squad. I didn't expect him to see out September. And then they gave him a new contract. Figured that one out. Lampard, because I thought his position would be a little bit precarious coming in after last season, only really surviving within the last kind of month of the season. They didn't have a particularly big transfer window. So I expected him to be gone, and Gerrard, because Villa literally hadn't moved, and they spent loads of money, and I was expecting him, with honourable mentions as Brendan Rodgers and Silva at Fulham.
Okay, and who was your guy? Did you say, was it Lampard? Did you say? No, you said Cooper, didn't you?
Cooper.
Yeah, Forest manager.
Well, I
didn't expect him to see out September.
No, I had him down as well to go pretty early. I figured that, new board came in, massive turnover of players. They might look at the situation and think, well, let's get our man in or something like that. So he was very much an honourable mention for me.
Especially after they dumped the entire recruitment team after signing 22 players. They whole site, they dumped head of recruitment, head scout, a couple of other scouts, technical director, but they gave the manager a new contract.
Actually, well, it
just
looks
seems
like
a little bit
players,
out of place to me.
What? These are the team that recruited us. And
Yeah, they fired them. Oh, they must think we're all crap.
Yeah.
They signed 22 players. That tells you all you need to know sometimes.
It's going to be a whole new squad up there, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've seen a couple of glimpses of what some of the players can do.
They beat Liverpool last week.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
They haven't signed anybody that would set the world alight.
Maybe Lingard on his day.
I mean, if Lingard hadn't had the season he had last season, then I would say probably, yeah. If he went straight there from West Ham, then I would go, yeah, I think that would be a really good signing for them. But he had a whole season on the bench pretty much, didn't he? So
Henderson's been the standout, I think.
Yeah, Henderson has definitely been the standout guy. I'll keep mine nice and brief. I've given you who my honourable mentions are. I thought Brendan Rodgers would be gone by now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that they didn't do great last season. They got off to a very poor start. They didn't recruit anyone, basically, during the transfer window. They lost, Kasper Schmeichel, I would say, is definitely...
Schmeichel,
they lost some clout in that team. Vardy looks like he's on the down and out now a little bit, and they haven't really replaced him with someone that can score. I mean, they've got, is it Baka? Is that the guy that they...
Daka,
Daka.
Yeah, but he's not really done anything at the moment. Tielemans looks like he wants to leave as well. I honestly thought he'd be gone.
I thought he'd be gone by now.
Yeah.
Did he want to go Arsenal during the summer, and Maddison to Newcastle is rumoured to be back, potentially be another January transfer, so they could get really gutted if they're not careful.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to cost him his job, but
they look better the last couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, maybe they've turned a little bit of a corner. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, did you have any thoughts on this?
Today against City.
I don't know any scores from today, so if you're asking me my opinion, I have no idea.
It was 1-0 against City. They weren't bad. I mean, they conceded a free kick.
Right.
Couple of chances missed. But I mean, I don't know, man. I thought Rodgers was going to be gone as well.
Yeah.
I had the same opinion as you,
I just thought it was that they were going to look at the situation and thought, well, you got us almost into the top 4 twice, and then last season they plummeted down the league pretty much, didn't they? And then
I'm expecting him to have been gone by that kind of international, that international break at the end of September with the Nations League. I thought that was where they were going to kind of pull the trigger on it, give the new person, a week to 10 days with the squad, because most of the squad stayed at home. They didn't get called up for international duty. Give them a week or so to work, and then they can come out the other side of it and start putting some results together. But
again, maybe it was like the Southampton situation that you were talking about. Like, who are they going to replace him
decided
with?
that there was nobody else to come in.
Yeah, I think they need to be careful about the next appointment, really, Leicester.
Yeah.
Need to find someone that's better than Rodgers.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that easy, as it seems.
I guess it all depends who wants to go in there as well, isn't it? That's the thing. They're not a team with a lot of money to spend. They're usually ran quite fiscally sound anyway, so the chairman's not going to go splashing around the cash a lot. So, yeah, I don't know who would go in there. So, Zidane.
I've got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Who do you think the next manager to be sacked will be, as of from today?
Honestly, I feel like Davis, Wolves.
I mean, he's only in temporary charge at the moment anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
Till the end of the end of the season.
But do you think they'll take him out of that position and put someone else in temporary charge?
They're like what now? Like bottom 4, right?
Tom?
At the moment.
I'm thinking I've just the light bulb's just got off my head who I think is next. Jesse Marsh at Leeds.
Oh no, I meant where were Wolves in the league?
Where are Wolves? Bottom 3 or 4, aren't they? Yeah.
They're like 18. I'm sure they don't want to get relegated.
I don't think anyone wants to get relegated, do they? But it's usually out of your control.
I mean, a team like Wolves, how many years now in the Premier League?
I mean, I don't think that's a terrible shout. I think that they might bring Nuno back in till the end of the season.
Well, that's what they said, though, no?
Yeah.
Apparently, they were in touch with him because he's coaching in Saudi now, right? Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So apparently, they got in touch with him or something, but
I think that's the same as the coaching in China. It's like, well, I'm here to get my money until a better team comes in, and then fuck it, I'll leave.
Give me a year,
Yeah, basically a
rolling 1 month contract. Might not have been bad for 10 weeks worth of work last season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's probably still getting paid for that now, isn't he? So
yeah, probably.
I mean, I don't think that's a terrible shout, but I think Jesse Marsh. Yeah, I think that he's probably the next guy to go.
Yeah, I think so.
He looked last week. He looked a broken man.
I don't think he appreciated the Leeds fans singing Bielsa's name.
Yeah, which was really weird to me. I know he got them up and everything, but they were terrible under him towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not getting battered at the moment.
I mean, they're in the same position they were with Bielsa now, anyway.
Yeah, but Bielsa, you look at that team and you think they could ship 8 goals.
The same with this team.
I don't know. I don't see this team losing by that many goals. They'll lose games, but 2 or 3, maybe, I look at the Bielsa team and think...
Goal as well, 1 goal difference.
Yeah, I mean...
Last couple of games.
I mean, against Arsenal, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
But they lost 3-0 last week? I can't remember.
3-2, wasn't it?
3-2, yeah. 3-2 against
3-2, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, but after... the second goal went in or something, the guy looked like he wanted to cry. He just looked
there wasn't
lost.
There wasn't a reaction. There was nothing from him, and there was nothing from the team that said that they were gonna get back into the game.
Yeah,
they just kind of deflated, and then it was trying not to ship goals because I thought they could have done last week.
Of ideas, he just looked like I don't know.
Yeah, but even talking to the subs on the sideline, they didn't look like there was anything like he was motivating them or trying to.
Yeah, nothing like you come here right now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. He just looked like.
Go on, you go out and try and do something. But
I just wanted to say that actually, there's no motivation whatsoever. It's like they're dead. They concede 1 goal. That's it. Game over. Come on, man. Where's the hard work? Where's the passion?
They look defeated as soon as they concede. They're like, well, that's it then, isn't it?
Exactly. They're like, game over. That's it. We're done.
Say they played really well against Arsenal.
But that weren't they? They were drawing with Arsenal, weren't they?
I can't. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. But obviously, they could have. If they had scored their penalty, they would have got a draw.
No, they did come back into the game. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They came back into the game, and they looked good. And Patrick Bamford looked like he actually wanted the result. And then that's why you thought that they would have been better in the next game. But in the next game again, they just looked.
I mean, that's what you do when you play a massive club like Arsenal. You get motivated to play that team. Tottenham Hotspur are a good football team.
I meant the next team that they played, but
yeah, but they play well against Arsenal
Yeah.
because obviously Arsenal are huge. Tottenham Hotspur are a good football team.
Okay. Anyone got anything else they want to add to the manager situation?
No, just other than the fact that the sackings have been a little bit strange at the start of the season. They definitely weren't ones we would have seen coming. Tuchel one springs to mind is just why sack him like 3 days after the transfer window closed by bringing in the players that he wanted to bring in. If the new board wanted to make a statement, you make the statement when he takes over and take him out at that point. You don't let him have the entire transfer window and then go, actually, no, we're not feeling this. You can go. After you've just spent all this money on players that he would have been involved in that process. Just didn't make a lot of sense at all.
What are you talking about?
Tuchel at Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. That was weird, honestly. I wasn't expecting it at all, you know? I mean,
I don't think anyone
won your Champions League, what, two seasons ago?
The season before Madrid, wasn't it?
Yeah, like that was, I don't know, just weird, you know?
They got to 2 finals as well, lost them both on penalties. So it's not like they had a disastrous season.
But that's Chelsea all over, though, really, isn't it? You know, like.
Yeah, but the new board was supposed to be a bit different. And then, I get it, we were talking about earlier, someone comes in, takes over a club, they want their own man in charge. Fine. But if you're going to do that, you do it at the start when you've got the whole transfer window with the new person to kind of shape it as he wants. Not 3 days after it closes when it's like everything you've done through the summer is just like completely pointless at that point.
Yeah.
I would say apart from that sacking, I think most of them which have been justified so far.
Yeah, I mean Gerrard's one was like he wasn't expecting it, you know.
Going nowhere under Gerrard.
I mean they haven't improved, have they? That's the thing. But then how much improvement do you want in how short a time? I mean, because he came in about this time last year, right?
Yeah.
So you've only really given him a season. I mean,
You've given him a season plus loads of money, and they were still in pretty much the same place they were 12 months ago.
Yeah, but I don't
it
know.
also doesn't help when the fans sit in the stands and chant, "We want Gerrard out."
Yeah, I think fans have got too much power, personally. I think their opinions matter
honestly,
too much.
They say something and that's it, you know?
Yeah, I hate football fans, personally. I think that they're the scum of the earth. I just...
honestly, sometimes they ruin it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, they wield too much power and they don't know what they want most of the time.
Exactly. They just cause stress, you know? It's like just extra stress on the club, on the manager, on the board.
We're all horrible.
And yet here we are making this podcast.
Yeah, so this was you guys wanting to make this podcast. I personally didn't care. I could have made one on Tiddlywinks, but whatever. Okay, so let's talk about the next one that are we going with this one, or do we think because it's already happened we're going to call this as a no, the Ballon d'Or?
I'll just quickly mention who we thought would win it.
So we're not counting this towards our points tally. No,
it's happened, so can't we?
Okay, fair enough. So who do we think's going to win it? Who did we think was going to win it? Feeling?
I actually thought Benzema would do it.
Shut up! No, you didn't.
Because the only reason why Real Madrid won the Champions League was because of Benzema.
True.
It's simple as that. It's the only reason why they won it. And Champions League winners tend to have a big say in where the Ballon d'Or goes. It's usually somebody from that team. So I did think it was going to be Benzema, but I didn't think Courtois was a goalkeeper of the year last season. Absolutely not.
That was literally just because of the final.
Yeah, 100%. But there's no way he deserved that award. But no, I did have Benzema to win it because let's face it, Messi and Ronaldo hadn't done squat. Mbappe, not particularly. Haaland's probably in with a shout for next year because he's what's classed as a bigger club than Borussia Dortmund that stands a chance of going deep in the Champions League and make a big impact in the Premier League. So it was kind of really the only viable candidate at that point.
Tom, you seemed like you wished to disagree.
No, I'm absolutely 100% agreeing with Phelan. That's exactly who I had as well, because I have sense and I am a football fan who knows my stuff. Yeah, Karim Benzema was the only choice for Player of the Year this year, in my opinion. You've got it written down. If you want to see his name, it's there.
Why is it crossed out?
Please show your workings out.
I think maybe Lewandowski's the only person who really could challenge him, but I don't think he had as good as year.
He didn't have a particularly great season.
If Salah had won the Champions League, then maybe.
No, I actually think if Liverpool had won it might have gone to Mane, maybe.
Mane, maybe.
You know, AFCON winner, and then if he'd have had a big impact in the Champions League final, it could have gone his way.
Okay, well let's finish out this hat trick then. Danny, who did you think would win the Ballon d'Or?
Honestly, as the guy said, Benzema, I think that was obvious, after what he did in the Champions League, he carried us basically against PSG, against Chelsea, So I think that was an easy one, honestly. The whole world of football, whoever watched football Champions League, they knew it was Benzema,
I would say that I think that if this was held after the World Cup, it might be a little bit different. I don't know, depending on the result of the World Cup.
True.
But for right now, yeah, Benzema.
Okay, well, apparently I have no idea why I host this podcast. I think it's just because of my oozing charisma, because I don't know anything about football, apparently. I didn't pick Benzema. I figured the Ballon d'Or is nothing but a popularity contest. Who does everyone cream their pants about at the moment? Mbappe. So, yeah.
He isn't won enough. No.
I went for Mbappe. So,
okay.
Because I don't necessarily think it really matters about what people win sometimes. It's more about which way public sentiment is flowing. I don't think the Ballon d'Or is necessarily about quality of player all the time or who's necessarily had the best season. Because I think that there was plenty of times between the 400 that Ronaldo and Messi won between them that there were other players that you could have quite easily considered, but it was no. Oh, Messi, I dream about you at night. Oh, why can't you be my lover?
Especially the year he won over Van Dijk, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's one where Ronaldo won over Lewandowski, which was wrong as well.
Yeah.
So, my other choice would have been Lewandowski because, again, everyone was banging on about him last season as well because, he broke Gerd Muller's scoring record. And then I thought everyone was going to be like, Lewandowski, he's the greatest. But I thought Mbappe's got the image a little bit more, mainly because he's on the cover of the FIFA game. And usually that's a pretty good indication of who the people cream their pants over.
If France win the World Cup, then he...
Oh, yeah.
You mean did?
That's a fairly safe bet.
Yeah, but Ronaldo and Messi were already at their peak at that time, so I'm talking about now. I don't think Ronaldo and Messi are in the picture. Unless
not now.
Unless Argentina win the World Cup.
Messi's basically retired now, and he's playing in France.
Oh, ouch.
And Ronaldo might as well be sitting on the United bench and throwing strops and walking down tunnels before games is finished.
I kind of have a little bit of sympathy for him, to be honest with you, though.
I mean, personally, yes. But as a team player, no, I don't have any sympathy for him. I totally understand as an individual why he'd be pissed off about it, but, he's playing a team sport.
I guess it was just disrespectful, putting him on on the last 3-4 minutes left to the game. He decides to put him on, Dude hasn't been playing, he's not getting his minutes. He has World Cup coming in, probably his last one. just got into his head, But I mean, you're a player of that caliber, like you're Ronaldo, like one of the best players ever. Like you can't do that. I'm sorry for the language, but you can't do that,
I don't.
But
I mean, I agree with you from a team standpoint of view. He should do what's best for the team, but I don't necessarily feel this decision is part of the team. This feels very much Jose Mourinho. I'm going to come in and make a point and a stand and show you that no one is above me, kind of feeling. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
I mean, he also did
I
come out and say he wanted to
it
leave.
was.
I'm not necessarily going to disagree with that statement because Ten Hag's come in and, he's coming from what is perceived to be a lesser league. He's coming in from what's perceived to be a lesser club. So, he's going to want to stamp his authority down. But what I will say, since Ten Hag has been there, Ronaldo has not done himself many favours with his attitude.
Oh, no,
leaving the ground early from a friendly, not getting involved in certain things in training, walking down the tunnel before the end of the game.
He's thrown some hissy fits. I agree. Yeah. He would have been better if he just carried on, kept his head down, kept doing his business, because then Ten Hag definitely would have been the bad guy. Everyone would have been like, "Well, look, he's still going at it, and he's still doing it, and he's still not getting on the pitch." So I do agree with you, but I don't know. I don't feel that it's because Ronaldo is pretty much past his prime. I don't think that that's the case. I just think that, he's kind of been singled out by a manager as the example that I'm going to set, But that's just my opinion.
Happens a lot of businesses as well, to be fair.
They declined as a team last season.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Ronaldo was banging them in. So it's all about team at the end of the day.
I think it just goes to show that Solskjaer was the man Manchester United needed all along.
Says who?
Okay, top four. Let's go back round to the beginning again. Top four. So I'll start us off. Now, I'd like to point out that this list was created on the 2nd of September. So any results that have come in since then have not been taken into account.
Right.
So with that being said, in order from fourth
here we go.
to first. In fourth place, Arsenal. In third place, Liverpool. In second place, and in first place, Manchester City.
Sorry, who's second?
Tottenham
Hotspur, yeah. I don't know why you're laughing. It's not a terrible prediction.
I mean, considering that you looked at the Arsenal result and the Manchester United result,
Aren't Spurs in the top four currently, Richard?
Yeah, but it's lost to Newcastle and doesn't look very good at the moment.
I would say in the big games, Spurs are not turning up.
No.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, unfortunately.
And if you ask me now, I would not put them in the top four at all. I think I would go for Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle.
He's going for Newcastle. Okay, he's going for it.
Great form at the moment. They're in great form.
But...
If you ask me right now, but yeah. So yeah, my top four: Man City as champions, Spurs, Liverpool, Arsenal. So that's my top four.
Okay.
Tom?
You want me to go next, right? All right. So I don't know if you want to.
You've changed yours, haven't you?
Yeah, I've changed mine, so I can't say Liverpool champions. I just can't. I can't say it.
Okay, so what was your original top four going to be?
Original was Liverpool's champions.
I'm very disappointed about how much you people have been changing, by the way. You're playing to the spirit.
They have changed every day, mate. Man City, Man City second, Spurs third, and Arsenal fourth.
So what have you changed it to then?
So I've changed City to. I would say I put Liverpool third or fourth. Third. I'll say third, and I still have Arsenal fourth.
Okay, again, read them in your order. That's fine, but the points don't rely on the order. The point just relies on if you've got the top four.
Right, so I've Arsenal fourth, Liverpool third, Spurs second, and Man City top.
Okay, so you got Spurs second as well.
How painful was that as an Arsenal fan?
I think they've got a decent squad. It's just, as I said, turning up in the big games and getting the job done.
I worry about strength in depth
Yeah,
for
same.
Arsenal. That's what I
The
worry
distinct
about.
lack thereof
First
at the moment.
11 seems really good at the moment, and it's ticking really well. But you
Yeah.
knock a couple of players out of that team, and it's like, who's stepping up into those roles? You know?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is still top 4 for Arsenal this season.
Yeah.
That's the main goal, not winning the league. That's. I don't think it's possible at the moment.
No, that's way too soon for you guys.
Although the stat I heard last week is that the only team that has been in the same position as Arsenal in the Premier League history and not won the title was Newcastle in 1996.
Statistics made to be broken.
So you think you're going to be the second team that's done that then?
Yeah, but it's not like we're miles ahead of Man City or anything. I mean, we're Man City top of the league now anyway.
Okay, Danny, let's go to you next, and we'll end on Phelan, because I'm sure he's changing his answers as we speak based on the results coming up on the telly.
No, as I said, my top 4 remains the same. The order I changed, but that doesn't matter for what we're doing. So no, my top 4 stays.
We can't prove that, can we? Okay, go on then, Danny.
Paper if you want.
Like I said, you're scribbling them out as we go along. You know, it's like, oh, a goal just went in there. They're not going to finish in top 4 now. And yes, I'm very aware that I've sworn more than all of you so far. I apologise. Richard, come on, you're making it hard for yourself.
Yeah,
You know why? Because I've got to go into another file, get the little whistle sound, then come back into this file, find where the swear word is, put the whistle back in. I'm just making more work for myself. Idiot. Anyway, Danny, go on, give us your top 4.
4th place, United, Manchester United.
Sorry.
Huh?
Nothing. I'm not laughing.
He's mocking you right now.
It's fine. So 4th place, I'll go with United, Manchester.
Okay.
3rd place, I'll go with Arsenal. 2nd place, Tottenham. 1st place, City.
No Liverpool.
Nope.
I mean, at the moment, right at the moment.
In my opinion, Liverpool is going to be in Europa League next season.
Ooh, big claim. Is that the end of Klopp, or do you think he'll still be given time?
Honestly, I think even if they go to Europa League, I think they might give him like another season, you know?
Yeah, I think he's earned enough respect there, hasn't he? That they'll
Yeah,
buy him.
exactly.
But then you say that, and fans are stupid. I'm sure you get a lot of Liverpool fans like, "It's time for Klopp to go. He's had enough now. He's not moving us forward anymore, is he?" Like,
There will be some
What
of those.
in the world was that?
Very much in the minority, I think.
you don't like my Scouse accent, no?
It
give us a
sounds
can
like
of
you're
Coke.
nuts in a vice, and you gone up 20 decibels.
Yeah, that's what all Scouse people sound like, isn't it?
No.
That's right. Dumping on the Scousers. Anyway, I think he's earned enough respect there that he probably...
it seems to be a pattern that he'll have a really good Liverpool have a really good season, then really poor season, then really good season, and really poor season.
Very yo-yo-y, aren't they?
Yeah.
Odd. Very odd. Okay,
Feeling
Phelan.
of consistency.
Who's your top 4?
So I've got City as champions. The order has changed to Chelsea 2, Liverpool 3, and Spurs 4.
Thanks, Phelan.
Right, mate, anytime.
Chelsea 2nd.
I was going to say, no one had mentioned Chelsea up to this point.
I don't think, because I told you
And
this before. I don't think Graham Potter's going to make it till the end of the season.
I don't know.
No, but he'll make the end of the season. But the flip change on my order is I had Liverpool 2nd to City and then Chelsea 3rd, which is like pretty much the same as last season's top 4. But I flipped Chelsea and Liverpool.
I still think Potter's not the right man. I think it was too big a leap too quickly.
I mean, they're doing all right at the moment, but who's going to say what's going to happen in the next few months?
Soon as something starts to go a little bit ropey, there's some big personalities in that club, and they're going to be like, "Who are you? What have you won?"
I mean,
yeah. What works in his favour is they've signed him to a very big. They've signed him to a very long-term contract. It's like a 5-year deal or something. So it's going to cost them a lot of money to remove him.
When has that ever stopped Chelsea? Come on. I know they don't have the Abramovich money anymore, but it's Chelsea. They don't care about stuff like that, do they? I just don't. I don't see that they've improved. At the start of the season, I thought Sterling, that's a decent signing. That's a really good signing. I think that they're going to do all right now. And then they started to struggle a little bit. And then all of a sudden they were going, yeah, we're going to try and sign Aubameyang. And I'm like, why? You're doing Chelsea things again. You had Lukaku last season, who is twice the player that Aubameyang is, in my opinion. And you didn't do anything with him. So now you're just scattergunning and hoping, oh, we'll throw something against the wall and hope that it sticks. And then I was
that's a good description. That's scattergunning. I like that.
Yeah, it just, that's what it feels like. It's like, who can we get? Aubameyang, yeah, he seems all right. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't seem like there's a plan.
I'm thinking.
Well, they wanted Ronaldo, no?
Yeah, and that was another weird one as well. I think that was Ronaldo's
agent trying to drum up some some news stories to power play United. I don't think there was actually any genuine interest there.
Thinking now Tuchel's gone, would there be a place for Lukaku in Potter's
I think there would have been.
Maybe.
I think they can sign him back, like he's on loan.
Yeah, he's on loan, yeah. But will he want to go back? I don't know if maybe he's just like, nah, screw it, I'm happy here, I'm just going to stay in it.
Yeah, I think it's his comfort zone, like Inter.
Yeah. Yeah, but we had this discussion before. I think he's the kind of player that you need to play to his strengths. He's not going to change to fit your team. And if he doesn't feel wanted, then he's just going to be like, well, nah, the hell with you. But
do you think that Potter will be a bit more flexible than what Tuchel was? Because Tuchel was very rigid.
I definitely think that he would play a bigger role in a Potter team than he does in a Tuchel team. But
Tuchel was very tactical.
Yeah, but he was very like, this is the way I want to play. But then Potter's like that as well. I mean, at Brighton,
he's gonna be flexible. He might be flexible though,
I think he's more flexible than Tuchel, but I don't think he's that flexible. I mean, there were seasons where Brighton were on the brink of relegation and he's still like, no, we're going to carry on playing the way we're playing. We're going to play out from the back and we're going to keep the ball. And even if it's Man City and we get thumped 7-0, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep going this way. And it's just like, I mean, it started to work for him at the end because he basically turned the whole team over and got in players that he wanted. Hence the argument for longevity with managers, because then they actually get the chance to turn the team over to be the team that they want to be. And it started to work really well.
Having watched a little bit of Brian, one of the things that they started doing is he took Malpay out, who was an out-and-out striker, and he brought in Welbeck, who was more of a link-up player, hold the ball up, which is definitely a job that Lukaku can do with his strength and physicality. And that's where Brighton started to score goals. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder if Lukaku does come back into that Chelsea team, that's a role that he could potentially adopt.
But then what
Chelsea aren't going to let him leave. They're not going to let him leave for cheap at the end of the season. They spent 100 million plus his wages on him. They're not just going to let him go for cheap. So I do feel like they're going to attempt to integrate him back into the team first.
That's for sure.
I think it all depends on the World Cup, I guess.
I don't know. I could see Chelsea cutting their losses.
I don't know if Inter Milan have got the money to sign him permanently.
That would be the thing.
Factor, surely.
I don't think they have. That's why he's on a loan deal. He's on quite a large loan deal as well. Like they're paying Chelsea nearly £12 million, I think, on a loan fee this year.
Okay, well here's an option: 3-year loan deal with a payment each year or something like that until they finally recoup a bit of money that they want for him, and then sell him for cheap after that or something.
That's not good for the player, though, is it?
I mean, he gets to play where he wants to be, though, doesn't he? So,
but it's not. It doesn't offer you the same security as a permanent deal, does it? Because there's always break clauses in loan contracts.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're talking about a player like in terms of like a mental health of a player. I think that would be a horrible thing to do.
Yeah, but Chelsea are a horrible team, aren't they? So. Anyway, relegation. Let's start with Phelan. Who's going down, Phelan?
So I've not changed my thing since the start of the season, but I had Forest, Fulham, and Everton.
Do you still agree with that?
Forest definitely will go. Forest are going to go down. It's kind of regardless. The other two probably not now, but for the sake of predictional points, I'm not going to change that. It's hard to actually pick the other two teams that would go down now based on like what's happened at the start of the season, because Wolves are pretty bad, but I don't think that they'll probably go. Southampton might. And one of it's like Forest is the lock, and then it could be one of about 6 or 7 teams, depending on how it goes directly after the World Cup and who comes back with injuries and things like that.
I mean, that's very much how I've got it. The relegation at the moment seems to be very much like who's the worst. And I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but it there was a period in time where it always felt like who was the best to stay up. Whereas
who was the best of the worst?
Yeah, now it feels more like who's the worst of the worst, you know? It's like you only stayed up because there were teams that were worse than you. And I know that, again, I know that sounds really stupid to say, but it doesn't feel like they're, you know, it's like, oh, you're all really good and you're all fighting to kind of stay in the league. It just feels more like who's not crap enough to go down, you know?
Yeah, there are a lot of bad teams in the Premier League right now. A lot of bad teams.
I'd 100% agree with that statement, and so, would say this is probably the first time that that's happened in my time. I don't know.
I think the past few years has been a bit like that.
But you could always, you always guarantee 2 of the 3 promoted teams would always be going down.
Usually,
it's been like it's like 2 out of the 3 promoted teams, or 2 out of 3 promoted teams plus the one promoted team that stayed up last season would join them going down. This season, not so much. There's, as I said, there's a collective of about 6 or 7 teams that could quite realistically be relegated.
There's a few,
and it wouldn't sound out of place either.
Yeah, I think that there's a few established Premier League teams that are kind of just waiting to go down at the moment. They're waiting for their year that they happen to be one of the worst 3 teams, and the promoted teams are just a tiny little bit better than them. They're not as bad as they are, and it kind of feels like there's a few Premier League teams that are just in that waiting period at the moment to go down. I mean, my list is like I've picked 3, but I picked like 8 that could possibly go down. I was like,
like 10 possibles.
But I went with Bournemouth, Forest, and Leeds at the end of it. That was what I picked right from the beginning. And if you ask me now, I still think that that's a legit list.
Still pretty solid, yeah.
But I think you could substitute any of them out with another team and it'll be fine. You know, substitute one out for Fulham, substitute one out for Everton, substitute one out for Brighton. You know, I think that these are all teams that could still possibly go down.
I wouldn't have said Brighton until recently.
Until they got rid of Potter.
They didn't get rid of Potter. He left.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you could plug and play any kind of team really in the bottom half of the league and you'd be like, I could see that happening. But so I mean, I think Leeds, Forest and Bournemouth, but again, stick another team in there and it could possibly be them as well. Yeah. Tom?
At the start of the season, Forest and Bournemouth were my 2 nailed on ones. Bournemouth have done pretty well recently after sucking their manager. But I think eventually it will creep up on them and they will go down. I did say Brentford at the start of the season, but I've had to change that because they've looked pretty decent so far. So I'm going to go another team that plays in red and white instead. And
Sunderland. Oh, sorry, wait.
No, that's begins with S though. It's Southampton. Yeah. Although they have picked up some decent results against Arsenal and Chelsea this season. I think their squad is very weak looking.
But I would call Southampton that definition of the club that Rich was just describing. That's
just waiting
for their year to be the worst.
For at least 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
They've been very lucky.
Teetering on the edge. There's always been teams worse than them, but their time is kind of running out.
Yeah, Southampton are definitely, they've been for a few years just waiting for their time to go down.
Do you remember when they finished above Man United? Like finished 6th, didn't they? Under Koeman when they had Mane and Van Dijk.
But that was at the height of their player turnover period, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
But
I mean, they had like Lallana and stuff like that.
An
as
anomaly
well.
rather than the rule, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a club format where they're happy to sign players or bring players through, sell them on for a lot of money, then just kind of keep turning the team over.
Eventually, the luck went out.
Newcastle used to be like that as well, weren't they? They were very happy to just keep turning their team over. Let's see if Danny's got any other teams that we haven't mentioned yet.
Actually, my predictions: Forest 100%. Southampton definitely going down this season. And honestly, I was thinking of Brentford. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, they have that second season smell about them, don't they? Yeah. Again, I think it's another manager who doesn't have a lot of ideas for when it's going wrong. Like Farker was another one of them. He doesn't really have any. He doesn't have a plan B. It's like just keep sticking with the system and keep sticking, and hopefully it'll come back round. And we'll be relegated.
We'll keep flogging plan A until plan A keeps being plan A.
Yeah,
that's that. But keep flogging plan A till you get sacked, basically.
Yeah. It just, but yeah. Okay, so I think what teams that we haven't really mentioned, Wolves, I think could be another option.
Yeah, they're very
based on
very
current
bad looking
form. Yeah, I wouldn't have had them at the start of the season, but yeah, based on the way that the season's gone so far, yeah, that wouldn't be out of place.
They've turned a little bit of a corner, but Everton would be another one you could say.
They just don't have goals in their team.
They've looked better recently, but still don't think they're great.
Villa look like they might be in a little bit of trouble now.
Yeah, there's no confidence in that team, is there?
Like I said, there's like 10 teams you could easily pick.
I mean, Fulham have done pretty decently so far. Can they continue to do that for the
That's
rest of the
thing,
season?
is will they burn out?
Mitrovic has been pretty good so far. Like 3rd or 4th top scorer so far.
Proved us wrong, hasn't he, so far?
Proved you wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that said Mitrovic can't score in the Premier League.
Yeah, probably, but he got 42 goals last season, so I think it's going to be very difficult for him to...
But Pookie is another one as well that scores loads of goals in the Championship but can't score in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is definitely one of those. And I thought Mitrovic might get into double figures, but I didn't think he'd have the start that he's had.
I thought he'd struggle to get into double figures as well, to be honest with you.
But if he does start to struggle, that's where Fulham will start to struggle to put the results together. That's why I originally had them to go down, because they're so reliant on Mitrovic for goals. I mean, the Championship season proved that. The fact that he scored 42 of them, they are very reliant on him. And that's without going into account his assist total and how much goals he makes for other people. If
they had
a
couple of games. Yeah, they had a couple of games where he wasn't there and they just struggled to put the ball in the net, didn't they? So you hope he doesn't get injured, otherwise you don't. You feel like you want to say something?
Yeah, so we all thought Leicester will be fine eventually then, yeah.
No, Leicester would be one of the other teams that I could say could go down. At the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have thought that.
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay, but just because there are teams that are worse than them, again, you know.
Yeah. I can see them finishing.
If they keep hold of Tielemans and Maddison, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
In January. If they lose them, then that could be a problem for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. All right, sticking with the Premier League, Golden Boot. Who have we got here for Golden Boot?
Interesting.
Danny, let's start with you.
Haaland.
Okay, and give me 4 other players.
4 other players.
Good luck with
that. Harry Kane, Haaland.
Yep.
What's that guy's name from Fulham? Mitrovic.
Okay.
I mean, if Foden continues this form, then I don't know, maybe Foden.
Potentially, he's been all right the past few weeks, isn't he?
Yeah, hat-trick against United. He's been scoring left and right. Yeah, that's my 4 predictions.
He's so confident he's only going to name 4 players.
I mean, come on, like, can you name? If Ronaldo was having a good season, I'd be like, Ronaldo might be like there, up there, but he's been having a very bad season.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he'll even pass like the 10-goal mark.
I would say right now it's very easy to say Haaland is going to be top goal scorer.
Yeah.
But if he gets injured, which he is now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Kane has been scoring at a pretty good rate, that Kane might have a chance.
The only thing I would say is that Haaland is so far away over the hills at the moment that he could afford to not score for a few weeks and still probably be on top of the board. It's very much the tortoise and the hare at the moment. But
I'm just saying,
that's like last season, isn't it? Salah started like a house on fire and then faded away. And then Son came on towards the end. Haaland started off like faster than a freight train. But you say if he gets injured, then he's going to allow other people to catch up. And City will always score lots of goals.
Go on then, feeling. Continue that thought.
So, start of the season, my top goal scorer, I did have Haaland because I thought he would be that missing piece in the puzzle that City need to like grind a result out if they needed it. But my other people were Kane, Son, Jesus, Salah, and Isaac at Newcastle.
That's 6, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's 6, isn't it?
Alexander Isaac he's at Newcastle. He is injured now though, but I would have had him.
The other picks you had?
Kane, Son, Salah.
And Haaland, yeah?
And Jesus and Haaland, yeah.
Okay, that's 6. You need to drop one of them from the list, mate.
Son.
So you're going to drop Son, okay.
Yeah.
So you think Isaac's going to score more than Son?
Yeah, because Son can't score a goal at the moment.
Tom?
Okay, I'm just looking at the names I've written down on my list. And one of them, I'm like, what the fuck? Why did you write this guy's name?
Please tell me who that is.
Oh, you've done a me. What? You've done a me.
Have I?
Yeah, always picking one that you're like, why the hell did you choose that one? The dark horse. See, every year we do this, I'm always picking dark horses. I think, that guy, I got a feeling, I reckon he's going to be a little bit... Or like teams coming up, I'm always a bit like, I'm going to pick a dark horse. But every year I get caught out by my dark horses, and that's what causes me to lose to Tom. So this year I've just gone boring and dull, and I'm just like, nope, I'm just going to be boring and not put my neck out on the line at all. And Tom's done a me. Go on, who's your dark horse?
I'm not sure why I've written down Fabianski, but no, I'm not gone that far dark. So I'll go with the people you would suspect me to say first. So Haaland, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hit a dark horse first.
No, I want to save
the anticipation.
Yeah, you always save the best for last. Yeah, he's the dessert.
Yeah, so Haaland, Kane, Salah, who he hasn't been great so far, has he? But you expect him to come good at some point. Again, Gabby Jesus, I'm still not 100% convinced he scored a few goals so far, but he hasn't really banged them in. He's more been a good team player for Arsenal so far. But the one I've written down and gone, I kind of get it, because when they bought him, he was like the focal point. Raheem Sterling.
Okay, yeah, I don't think he's going
to score enough goals to be top 5
like it now. He's not in a team that creates as much as City does now. So I think that might cost him a little bit. But when we wrote these lists, he was the new shiny toy.
The marquee signing for Chelsea, and he thought he was going to play through the middle and
be
the main striker, which clearly didn't work for Chelsea at the start of the season, did it, really?
Hence why they scattergunned and went, oh, crap, who do we... yeah, he'll do. We'll get him.
He's not a great finisher.
He's a good player, good signing, but he's not the guy who's going to get you 20 goals.
Agreed. He's not the guy that's going to go out and get 20 goals a season.
I think that's a better choice than Isaac, though.
Yes, I agree. So,
Almar
is a better choice.
I'm going to set a little wager right now then.
Oh, he's putting extra money on the line. With whom?
Yeah, the Isak will score more goals this season than Sterling.
Okay, so do you want to take that
Yeah,
extra
I'll
bet?
take the wager. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is that another tenner on the line or?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go for that. Yeah,
I'm gonna back this player.
Ooh. Tom, this could become a very expensive season for you if everything goes against you. That's £120 that you've bet so far already.
And if I win, I get pounds sterling.
Hey.
Hey.
Ba-dum-dum. Yeah, no surprises on mine. Kane, Haaland, Son, Jesus, and yeah, the odd one out at the moment is Salah, who doesn't seem to be really doing a lot at the moment. But
nor the Sun.
No, but I still think that those have got goals in them. I still think that they'll come good eventually. But yeah, nothing interesting on mine. Kane, Haaland, Son, Jesus, Salah. Nothing really out of the ordinary there.
It does kind of
just
pick
to
itself
reiterate,
to a degree, doesn't it?
kind of at the moment. I mean, there was a period where it was always Aubameyang, Vardy, Kane. You put them one in there and you're pretty safe, aren't you? But
yeah. And then there was Salah, Kane, and Vardy.
So just to reiterate the rules, if any of those names that we picked appear in the top 5 goal scorers, you will get a point for that. So,
no respect on Ivan Toney's name.
I don't think he's playing for a team that will. I reckon if he went to
he'll get
team
15 goals, but he won't hit the upper echelons of it.
Yeah, he's not a team that creates enough. That's the problem.
True.
Put him in a better team, and maybe. Yeah, I mean,
let's see what we could do at Newcastle. They signed him. That was a rumor that was around.
Yeah, but maybe in January. I don't know. Let's see. PFA Player of the Year. Has anyone put anyone other than Haaland?
No.
Danny?
Difficult. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe De Bruyne. Maybe De Bruyne.
Yeah, De Bruyne.
Yeah, okay. But I think we're all pretty much on Haaland,
I think
right?
that's the easiest one to pick out of all the categories.
Yeah. Okay, good. Right. Finishing off the Premier League. The not technically the Premier League, but who do we think is going to be coming up into it the following season? Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah,
I don't mind. So Norwich are the team that always seems to bounce back, don't they?
Yo-yo team.
And they've looked pretty decent so far. Burnley look really good under Vince & Company so far. I think they'll probably bounce straight back. And I've got Sheffield United as my third.
Yep.
Currently.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I've got QPR, Burnley, and Sheffield United.
Again, this is usually where I put a dark horse. I don't think I've picked a dark horse, but yeah, the season's not been going fantastically well for them so far, it looks like. Norwich, Watford, Burnley.
Pick Watford.
Yeah, Watford haven't been great, have they?
Yeah.
That's the 3 that went down last season.
That would probably be classed as a dark horse right now.
Now it would, but I think at the beginning of the season, if I just said, the 3 teams that went down are the 3 teams to come up, no one would have gone, really? That's a bit of a dodgy pick, isn't it? It's not me picking Charlton or Nottingham Forest, for instance. Cardiff.
Fair point.
This year, I just went nice and safe. 3 that went down, 3 that come up.
But
Watford have just buggered it for me because they're not having the best season so far.
I picked QPR at the start of the season, which I suppose could have been classed as a bit of a dark horse, but
I would say that would be a dark horse at the beginning of the season.
Top of the league right now. Right?
But at the beginning of the season, would you have said QPR?
No.
Yeah. So I would have said that was a dark horse. But it seems to be a dark horse that's paying off for him. And I hate you for that. So,
Thank you.
I'm feeling
the hatred right now. I can literally feel it through the screen.
Well, let's just point out, Phelan picks a dark horse and he's doing all right. Richard picks a dark horse and they get relegated from the championship. So, go to hell, basically. See, I was going to go... It's a good thing I didn't pick for West Brom, because they were another team.
That's one you were talking about, wasn't it? I remember.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't pick them now. So,
yeah.
Danny seems to be back. Who do you think might come up from the championship?
Norwich.
Yep.
QPR, Burnley.
He went for the dark horse as well, see? But he's basing all of his guesses on who's doing all right at the moment. It's just not really a dark horse for him right now, is it? So I wanted
Well,
him
my
to
store
turn around
manager's a
and
QPR fan, so I've had to listen to that all summer.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, all right.
I believe it's about
I'll
10.
take QPR.
It's about time for QPR, to get back to the Premier League.
I don't think it works like that, though, really, does it? Because Nottingham Forest and Leeds were out of it for a long time, and you'd say that they
true.
deserve to come up. So, but
Forest are definitely the most out of left field promoted team in the last 10 years.
yeah, considering I picked them the season before, but whatever. Screw you, Nottingham Forest.
Didn't Forest have their worst start to a season ever last season or something like that? And then they
did,
promoted.
They were like bottom 3 in the Championship at one point. I'm sure of that.
Couldn't do that on
And then got promoted.
Could they?
Right. Like a Leicester fairy tale all over again, almost.
FA Cup, League Cup. Who wants to go first?
I can go first if you want.
Okay.
Man City for both.
Pretty easy and boring. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. That's it. City, I just think that they're just too good. They really are. They this season could be considered, potentially could be the greatest season.
Or could this be the quadruple season?
I'm saying I've got them to do a quadruple this season.
Ooh.
I am.
Bold claim. You don't think Guardiola's going to Guardiola at some point?
I think the talent on the pitch will be able to get past Guardiolaing.
Okay, fair enough.
Just when you look around the team, especially now they've added Haaland, who is guaranteed to score goals, and
still think they're way too
goals.
weak defensively, man.
While I don't disagree with that, I still think in a one-off game, like the cup game, like the League Cup game, FA Cup game, games are, that they'll have enough to just. They've got enough quality just to win games. And let's face it, as Real Madrid proved last season, you don't have to be strong defensively to win the Champions League.
True.
Because they ship goals they ship goals every game.
Yeah, good point.
Didn't beat Liverpool though, did they? Danny, who do you think's going to win the cup?
Yes, sir. FA Cup, Arsenal.
I'll take that.
League Cup. I don't know why, but I want to say Liverpool.
Yeah, that's a fair season.
Yeah.
I think, you're usually picking between the same teams most of the time, isn't it? And you just think who's going to have a better season. So I wouldn't say that was a bad shout. I mean, I've also got Arsenal to win the FA Cup as well. League Cup, you could say it's a little bit of a dark horse. Man United. I mean, it's a shorter cup competition. Could they win 4 games? Yeah. I could see them winning 4 games.
I think it would be a good competition for them to win, just to get the confidence going, you know? They haven't won a trophy for like 5 seasons now, haven't they, or something like that? At least 5 years, I think.
Did they win the League Cup under
Mourinho?
They won the Europa League, didn't
under
they?
Mourinho was the last time they won anything.
Yeah.
The Europa League and the League Cup.
But, yeah, I mean, I could see them winning it, maybe more out of fluke than anything else. I mean, win 4 games and that's it. You've won the League Cup, basically, haven't you? So, because there's no second leg in the semi-final now, is there, this season?
I don't think so now, no.
Because I think the World Cup kind of put a bit of a kibosh on that, isn't it? Just one-legged, the semi-final.
I think so.
I might be wrong about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but...
You don't know.
I don't know.
But, yeah, anyway, yeah. Tom?
So Chelsea have been in the last 27 FA Cup finals, I think, something like that. It's about time they won one. So I've got Chelsea to win the FA Cup. And for the League Cup, I've got Man, crossed out United, and one Man City.
Okay, so you were thinking the same as
I was thinking Man United at the start of the
then you
season.
swerved.
Then I saw how rubbish they were, and I put Man City instead.
It's all right, rubbish they were, we don't swear.
But now I'm like, it's a bit more realistic, I guess.
Fair enough. Which leaves us with one final category. Champions League winner. Who wants to kick me off?
Well, I've already said mine, so...
Yeah, Man City is quadruple season apparently. I still
Yeah,
think you're
yeah.
a little bit delusional about that, but fair enough.
Hey, you want me to go
No,
next?
Anyone?
I'm full
Yeah.
during the World Cup group stage. I like being delusional.
Yeah, between two of the most boring teams in it as well. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
You're a bit of a dreamer, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Romantic at heart.
Okay.
Go on then, Tom.
So I wrote all my predictions down the day
I'll
before
quite happily brag at the end of the
the
season.
Champions League started. The day before.
Okay.
I wrote my predictions down. And I originally wrote down Liverpool. But then they got battered by Napoli on the first match day and looked dreadful. So I crossed it out after one game and wrote down Bayern Munich.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
Bayern Munich on my pick.
Danny, who do you think?
Honestly, I want to say PSG. It's about time, you know. They're doing good this season. They have a good
You seem
squad.
to
Like Ramos is
think-
back to his form, you know. They haven't
You
lost a
seem
single
to think
game.
that there's a
while
lot of
Ramos playing.
justice in sport, though. Like, oh, it's about time that they won it. It's their time. It's
I
their
know.
time. It doesn't work like that, man.
I know, but I mean, like, come on, you know, like Neymar is back on a good form. Mbappe, well, he's on a good form. Messi's back on a good form. You know, they're doing good. Like the team is doing good in the French league, even in the Champions League. Like they're doing good. You know, just I don't know, man. Like I honestly want to see them win it, but at the same time, they're gonna get to the quarterfinals, maybe semifinals, and they're gonna like, as usual, you know, do what PSG does best and lose. You know. I want to say Madrid, but I don't feel that we're going to win it this year, this Champions League. So I'm going to go with PSG, honestly. I'm going to go with PSG.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. I put Real Madrid again. I don't see
I mean, you know,
anyone.
it gets boring when you see your team, like, we keep on winning it over and over again. It just gets boring, you know? Like, I want a different team to win now, you know?
Yeah, it gets boring watching your team win so
Yeah,
much.
man, you know,
Oh
like-
God.
14,
As a Spurs fan, you won't understand that,
Like,
you know.
come on, you know?
I hate you all.
I will say Real Madrid have started the season very well and they've picked it off where they've left off from last season, really, haven't they? In the league and in the Champions League.
Like I said, apart from City securing Haaland, I don't really think anyone else has done anything that would make me think that they've taken a step upwards. And the reason I don't choose City is because they're still so fragile at the back. And could they go into a European away game, you know, semi-final, second leg away from home and not concede 3 or 4 goals? No, I don't. You know, especially if Guardiola's Guardiolaing, you know. I will play Emerson
Love the fact that's
up
a
front.
phrase.
Yeah, you know, yeah, he's, you know, but that's just, it's true though, isn't it? Guardiola,
yes.
Guardiola's, and he's gonna
Did it in the last
outthink
Champions League
himself.
final he was in and got beat by
And he-
Chelsea.
Yeah, he did it in the semi-final that they were in as well, and he did it in a cup final as well, and he just, yeah, Guardiola's. This team has been doing well for me all season. Therefore, I will not play this team. I will play my under 21s. No one will question me. No one will think about this. I will play my under 7s team. That's what I will do.
So for some clarity on this, when I mean, me and you watched the
Yeah,
Man
who
City
are you
Chelsea.
picking, Rich?
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Oh, you're picking Madrid, sorry.
Yeah.
So
I got lost
we
in your
watched-
rant that I'd forgot you said
Oh,
Madrid.
sorry. I like to rant. It's what I enjoy.
So we watched the Man City Chelsea
Yeah.
Champions League final together, didn't we? And as soon as I saw the lineup, Man City
Yeah,
didn't have a
no,
defensive
I was watching it with a
midfielder.
couple of Chelsea fans and said the
We
same
thought,
thing.
well,
That
they're
as
not
soon as
going to
you,
win.
Both
soon
of
as you
us
started
instantly
playing people
said
from different
Chelsea going to win this because what's he doing?
Yeah, didn't play any defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
That's the same thing they did against Arsenal in the FA Cup, and they lost that as well. They did it recently against Man United. Didn't play a defensive midfielder and ended up winning 6-3. So they got it right there. So you know, it's a possibility of happening again if he does that kind of thing again. You know?
Yeah.
So we all went for different picks, didn't we?
Yeah, all picked a different
All
team.
picked a different team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a good one. That could be a tiebreaker. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, interesting picks there, gentlemen. We will revisit this at the end of the season. Sacked in the
Sounds good.
morning.
Sounds good.
You're getting sacked in the morning. Sorry, that's me. Put my cut in. Sorry. Okay, so anyone else would like to talk about this week? Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I was looking for my predictions to see.
actually
That was
haven't got
definitely
anything,
it.
actually.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it.
No?
Sorry.
No? Okay, Danny. New
Yeah.
segment. Give us our weekly look from the continent, because we're very focused on the English Premier League, which I think is a bit of a problem because of where we live. Give us a look from the continent, Danny. How do things look in Europe right now?
Honestly, like I've been watching Premier League a lot recently.
Ah.
a lot of La Liga as well, because Sport Madrid. La Liga has been it's been good this season. Barca is like back off.
Yeah, what is
you know?
going on with Barcelona? They spent loads of money and they're
I
Mate,
know
they're
they've
out of
looked
the Champions League,
terrible
didn't
in
they?
Europe, haven't they? Yeah, they've
they
looked
do
awful
that
in Europe.
every time. You know, like they go ham. Like they just spend left and right, like signing all these players, and you know, like even Lewandowski. Like at first he was doing well. Like look at him now. You know, like he's not doing shit. You know. I don't know, man. Like Barca is weird. They just spend money and they have all these like debts on them. You know, they don't learn from their mistakes. That's what I see. You know, Atletico Madrid is in a very difficult position this year. They got knocked out of Champions League too. They're not doing well in the league.
Do you think
think the,
Gianni's going to get sacked there?
I was going to say, do you think the shine's come off him a little bit now?
Look, honestly, I think it's about time. Dude has been coaching for a while. Like, how many seasons now? Like 6, 7 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't win anything. I think he got to the Champions League final, but he lost against
Won a
Madrid.
La Liga, didn't he?
It's 1-2.
I think he won La Liga, no?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. Like that's the only thing he won, you know. Other than that, like he hasn't been doing anything at all, you know. It's about time you guys like sack him, you know. But then again, like I believe the board like really trust him with the project. Like they trust his instincts. Like they like how he's playing. They like how he coaches. But then again, I don't know. Like it's getting old school, you know. Same tactics, same things. Like you don't enjoy watching Atletico play, you know.
The only thing I was going to say is it a case of what we were talking about earlier again with like, well, who else are they going to get? Who else is out there that they could go to?
I mean, you have Pochettino, no?
Pochettino,
He's free.
yeah, I was thinking that, yeah.
He's free. He's doing nothing. He has experience, you know. He
That'd be
coached
interesting.
Tottenham for how many seasons? He got them to the Champions League finals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
He
don't
would
think
be
I
a
don't
good contender.
Yeah, I think that would be a good shout. I think it might be a good mix, but the thing is that they're two very different coaching styles, so he'll need time to turn the team around. And I don't know. I mean, they seem to be quite patient, so maybe they would give him the time to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, they
I
are
feel-
patient. Like they started the
Yeah.
season. I don't know. They were like a couple of weeks ago. They were like 7th, 6th. Now they're like 3rd. You know. But
I mean, you only need to look
that-
at how long Simeone's been there for to see that they're patient with
Yeah,
their manager.
yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, like he's been there for how many years now? You know.
yeah,
They trust in him, like they're trusting the project, and they're just going with it. You know, I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at it like from one perspective, that's good. You know, like you showing the manager that you know what, like I trust you. You're not winning titles. You're not doing anything, but it's okay. I trust you. You know, I trust your project. Come on, do it. You know, like
takes the pressure
that'll
off.
give
I
you
would say,
that'll
yeah.
exactly take the pressure off. You know,
You don't gamble
Yeah,
as
you'll-
much then, do you?
no, you know, but most of the other clubs, like PSG, for example, how many coaches did they change in the last couple of seasons? You know.
Yeah, PSG, Chelsea are very similar. At
PSG,
in that
Chelsea,
regard,
you know,
yeah.
like just messed up, you know.
I'd agree, but I guess they're happy with what they've got at the moment. You know, like maybe they're happy to just like compete every now and again, and then
Yeah,
pick something up, pick up a cup or pick up a league or something, and they're happy with that. And they're like, well, we know our place. We're not Barcelona. We're not Real Madrid.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. As long as they qualify to Champions League, I guess, you know.
That's it. It's the money from the Champions League. It's the most important
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? So it's the same thing that happened
Regarding-
with Arsenal for a while, basically, wasn't it? So
Yeah. Other leagues, honestly, Juventus, like, oof.
Yeah, they've been rubbish this season, haven't they?
Dude, like honestly, they should get relegated for what they're doing this season. You know, coach. Like, what I don't understand is like, why do you go and hire the coach like that has no like knowledge in football whatsoever? Like, there's no tactics.
Coach.
There's nothing going on there. Like, you just watch them. Like, I don't know what they're doing. You know, like there's nothing interesting going on with Juventus at the moment. Nothing. They have, if you look at them, like they have good players. Like they have stars. You know, experienced players too. But they're not doing anything. There's no charisma. There's no chemistry. I don't know. It's like individually they're good, but as a team they're rubbish. You know.
Yeah, they're rebuilding now, aren't they? Realistically, they've failed on the Ronaldo project, and then it's like all their money's gone.
I mean, the striker that they got, his name Vlahovic.
Vlahovic.
Yeah, I can't say he's Vlahovic.
Yeah, like he's good. Like he's been doing well, you know. Morata has been doing well too.
I think it's pronounced Van Hooijdonk. I think that's how it's pronounced. Right?
Are you messing with
What's his name?
I think
Venegor of Hessling.
Oh, Venegor of Hessling. Yeah, great name. I love that guy. That name was brilliant. Sorry. We should do that as a topic. Best footballing names in history.
Yeah.
What is it? Sorry. Vlahovic.
I think his name is Vlahovic. Yeah, Vlahovic. Dusan. Okay, let's call him Dusan.
Dusan. Okay,
Dusan.
that sounds cool.
Dusan. Yeah, it's easier, you know. Dusan.
I will say that Juventus's demise has made Serie A a lot more competitive, though. The last few seasons.
Do you think he's made it weaker?
Possibly, but it's the most competitive league in Europe, probably at the big five right now.
At the moment, it is. Like Napoli is doing well, Milan is doing well, Lazio, Roma. You know, they're like 10 points ahead. They're like, I think Roma is like 5th now, 6th, something like that.
Napoli are probably the informed team in Europe, right?
Yeah, honestly, Napoli is doing really good. Milan isn't doing bad either, you know. AC Milan, not Inter.
I mean, I'd like there to be more competitive leagues. That's what I'd like. And if it means weakening it a little bit to make it more competitive so that then more teams can compete, then I haven't necessarily got a problem with that. It's when one team just has all of the money and just runs away with it every season. It's boring. Yeah. It's like, yeah, sure, you've got all of these stars and everything like that. PSG, for instance. But if you're going out there and just spanking every team and it's so easy for you, then what's the point? You know, that's like, you know, like I can beat up 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Good for you. You know, what do you know? It's not any what's the word I'm looking for? Glory in it. You know, there's, you know, so if it's a weaker league overall but more competitive, that can only be a good thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they've still got some names in the league, it seems. So I think that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Bayern Munich won the league 10 years in a row. You know, Man City won it 4 out of the last 5. You know, we want to see competitive leagues, you know.
But even Bundesliga is kind of competitive this season, don't you think?
Right now it is, but I still think Bayern will run away with it.
Yeah, honestly, I think if Union Berlin like loses a game or two, that's it. Like they're gonna win like 2 games. They're gonna go ahead, like have that 6-point gap, you know, between the 2nd, 3rd place, and then that's it. You know, we know where that goes.
Union
Berlin.
Onion.
They're top of the league
Onion
right
Berlin.
Onion Berlin. Yeah, that's it.
It's a German onion, you know. It's a German onion. Onion.
I've got a German friend, and I take the piss out of that all the time. I find it really weird. Onion, because I'm like, that's French. That's French, isn't it? Yeah, that's French for onion. Onion Berlin.
So I think at the moment it's the top 7 or 8 in the Bundesliga are all separated by a point or something.
See, that's good.
It's like Union Berlin have 23, Bayern have 22, Dortmund have 21, and so on.
Bayern has 25 actually, because they have one. They played 1 game extra. They have 12 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're all like
they're 25 points.
1 point above each other or below each other. Right?
Yeah, it's competitive.
Good, yeah,
competitive.
But I still think,
isn't it?
I still think Bayern will run away with it.
Guess only time will tell. We'll have to keep checking in with Danny. Yep. He's our new European correspondent.
I got you.
What's going on in Armenia? How's the Armenian league looking?
Honestly, like, okay, for the past couple of years, we've had like this one team, Arad Armenia. It's either them or like, no, honestly, mostly it was them winning the league. I think they won the league for like 2 seasons in a row or something.
Okay.
But they couldn't make it to the Europa League. Last season, Punic, one of the clubs here called Punic, they won the Premiership, so they got qualified for Europa League, I think. Or was it Champions? I forgot. No, I think it was Europa League. They couldn't get qualified, so they're playing in the Conference League.
Conference League, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, they weren't doing that bad until their game they played yesterday or before yesterday. They were sitting second in the group, and then they played yesterday. They lost 2-1. Dude, they conceded 2 goals in like 2 minutes, and that just like costed them the game, you know? They lost 2-1. So
Yeah,
now they're
Spurs
sitting on
fans, I'm
third
used
place.
to
They
that.
have the last game, and they're playing against Basel. So I
Big
guess
team.
that's a goodbye, you know?
That will be tough,
Good-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's like the...
They have a presence, aren't they? Basel?
Yeah. That's
Um,
a good team, so go on.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, Basel is a good team.
Yeah, I was going to say, what we're going to talk about the Premier League transfers, aren't we? Who said the best transfers so far, or worst, or whatever?
I mean, we weren't going to, but we can if
I
you
don't know
want
if that
to.
was what we were going to talk about, but I forgot about it.
Okay. Are we done with Europe?
No, we can talk about Europe a bit more if you want.
Okay. Because I don't want to just jump to a different topic halfway through a topic, you know?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so anything else that we want to talk about in Europe? How's Henrik Mkhitaryan doing? How's he?
Not bad. I mean, he's old, you know?
How's his house? Does he still live in that flat above the on that little?
Yeah, he
circle
still
bit,
does. Yeah, remember that place we went to last time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a really
still
nice
there, man.
fountain
He's
in
still
front,
there.
and the building like curves around.
Okay. Really fancy looking, yeah.
Pardon?
Really fancy looking.
Yeah, it's like right in the city centre. So,
Okay.
man, I miss Yerevan. That was great.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's chill.
never thought about going there in my life, but now it's somewhere I recommend everywhere goes. It's really good. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to talk about?
They talk looking at me when you say
Yeah.
that. I thought we were going to talk about who's had the best transfer window in the Premier League.
So, Tom, you would like to talk about who's had the best transfer window of the Premier League so far, yeah?
Just picking out a few teams who I think have had who I wrote down who had the best transfer window. I actually wrote down Forest as one of my picks.
Oh,
Really?
I mean, yeah, for numbers, yeah, sure. They've had the biggest transfer window.
23 in, yeah.
I mean, if we're talking
will
about, you know,
disagree
who
with
can
you
sign
with
the
that
most
till
players.
The cows come home.
Yeah, they haven't had a good transfer window, but they've signed the most.
No.
So, you know.
Yeah. No.
I'd probably say Arsenal, Spurs, and Man City probably had the best transfer window of those three. I mean, Arsenal definitely in terms of getting.
I would say Arsenal
Zinchenko
probably had
and
the best
Gabi
transfer window.
Jesus. Jesus in particular,
Yeah.
has really boosted the team.
I mean,
you
we're all
could
going to say City because they signed Haaland, but
No, I
say
think Arsenal had a better transfer window than City did.
before you cut me off.
Well, then don't turn around and say something as divisive as we're all going to say City then,
No,
aren't they?
yeah, no, and then let me finish what I was going to say. I was going to say everyone's going to say
Don't
City
start
because
your
they said
conversation
Haaland,
off the
but I
way.
would say Arsenal had the better transfer window. Was what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Fine,
in terms
but
of
you
improving
agree.
the team. I think Spurs on paper had a pretty good transfer window, but I'm not quite sure most of the signings.
Yeah, I
Had
would
they
agree with
spent
that.
less
Really.
on Richarlison, I would probably agree.
He's been
with
the
you.
best signing probably. Either him or Perisic.
Perisic has probably been our best signing. He's the one
he's
that's
been-
played the
he's-
most
yeah,
games
He's looked really good
of
when
all
he's
the
played.
players that we've signed.
But Basuma was just not.
He had a
So-
really good game against Brighton.
With Basuma,
Yeah,
of course it did. It's against Brighton, his former team.
but then he
did
started
well.
the next game against United, and he just looked lost in that game. But
Yeah, he
everyone
came
looked
on in the
lost that
second
game.
half against Frankfurt in the Champions League and did very, very well in that game, which carried on from the Brighton game, and then we had an absolute shocker against United. So he's been very kind of hit and miss. But Perisic has probably been the best signing of the group. I agree with Rich. We overpaid for Richarlison by like 20 mil minimum. We overpaid on Richarlison.
I mean, I don't think he's been a bad signing. I think he's been a decent signing. But yeah, we overpaid.
He's just not a 63 million pound player.
No, but then that seems to be
Not
the way
yet,
the
at
world at
least.
the moment,
Yeah.
though, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred Jesus, honestly.
Yeah, I'm very happy that we got Jesus over Richarlison.
I think it's like second best signing in the Premier League.
Gabby Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, individually, yes, I would agree. I think he's the second best signing. Haaland's obviously far and away the best signing. But from a team standpoint of view, I think City would have been just fine without Haaland anyway. Arsenal are way better with Jesus.
Yeah.
So,
and I'd actually argue that Arsenal's best signing is not really a signing, but a player they got back on loan. They got back from the loan spell.
Go on.
Saliba.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would actually argue, because I know Jesus has added something up front. Saliba's the one that's added the kind of steel to to Arsenal's defence and has given them a bit of a backbone there. Because before they, like, as showed at the end of last season, put under pressure, they would crumble. And bringing in Saliba has meant they've had the ability to win games ugly. I still think they're going to fall away and they're going to hit a bad run of form. And I mean, mentally, the mentality of the team is still not quite there to sustain a run at something. But he is definitely the step in the direction that they need to add that character and that skill and that mentality to that.
Isn't he like 18 as well?
He's not that young, I don't think. But I've been very impressed with him so far. The only thing I would say is Gabriel looks very flaky next to him, though. That's the only thing I'd say.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you got a really decent keeper behind him, then, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. I mean,
it pains me to say all the pieces are starting to come together at Arsenal, but they are still.
But it's also why I said that I think if they have a couple of little injuries, they're back to the same team they were last season before,
which is why I haven't picked them for the top four. Which why I didn't pick them for my top four.
You lose Jesus, you come back to Nketiah, who's not a goal scorer. You lose
Saliba and
Saliba.
As you already said, Gabriel's flaky.
Was it Holding? Was he the other?
Holding or Ben White?
Yeah. But so it's that's the only thing is there's just not enough strength in depth there. That if someone goes out, that you're still a decent team. You lose a lot of quality if they lose someone. But it's starting to come together. It looks like, which is annoying.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Said through proper gritty teeth there, Rich.
I'm not getting carried away.
It is annoying because it's just like, oh, for God, why can't we ever just we and I mean that as Spurs, we never seem to be able to stamp our authority. It's always like, we'll be a little bit better than Arsenal, and then it's like, we can't maintain it, and we drop away again. Whereas Arsenal, it's like, they drop away, but that's the inconsistent part. The quality is the normalcy, and then it's like, oh, we've had a few bad years, but it's all right. We're back to where we were again now. Whereas Tottenham, it's like, we're back to where we were again now. Oh, we've had a couple of good years. We're back to where we were again now.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
That frustration not capitalising in what we built up to 2018.
Yeah.
How do you guys view the way Spurs have been playing this season?
I don't.
Wait. I'll let Rich go first because I've got a strong opinion on this.
Okay, I have a strong opinion in one way that I don't personally care if it's boring. That doesn't bother me at all. You can win every game in the most boring 1-0 manner ever as long as you win some trophies. The problem is we're not good enough to do it. So that's the thing, is we're trying to play this defensive, counter-attacking way of football, and we've got the speed and the quality up front, but the defence is awful. It's just not good enough that it can withstand that much pressure. It just buckles, and that's the problem. Is if you're trying to build that kind of defensive first solid foundation and then we break and we counter attack from that, you need to have a defense that can actually withstand that, and not like as soon as someone's slightly out of position, we're all just chuckle brothering around and just throwing ourselves in front of whatever we can possibly get, and just keep it out of go. And then Hugo Lloris is coming up and headbutts his own player because he's trying to head the ball out, and then Dyer's like, "Oh God, I'll take him down." And it's just chuckle brothery, and it's just we're not good enough to do that.
Chuckle brothery. I
Yeah,
love that.
you know, to me, to
What that is,
You guys-
that is the phrase of the day.
You guys
Oh,
need a
Daddy?
proper centre back.
Yeah. I think
You guys need like a
Romero.
world class centre back. You know.
Romero is decent. I don't mind Romero, but he's just one piece of a weaker back line,
Back
and he's a little bit erratic. That he could do something crazy. That you need another
good,
decent centre back to back him up. And Dyer, Sanchez, Davies, they're not that player. You know,
No,
it's
right,
like, well,
yeah,
if you
agree.
cock up, you're our best defender. What are we gonna do? Oh God! And they just sit on the floor and start rocking and crying. You know, it's like, and then Lloris is like, "Don't worry, I got this." And then he like runs into
No, he
someone and
hasn't.
falls over. You know, like I said, yeah, to me, to you, to me, to you. Yeah,
So,
but yeah, we need
my opinion,
better defense.
yeah. So I don't know if you've noticed this watching Spurs, but majority of the games this season follow a pattern. So we want to be defensively strong and hit teams on the counter attack. But in 90% of games we have played this season, we have gone behind. And then we're chasing the game in the second half, which at some point, as was evident against Sporting, you can't do it. You can't win games playing from behind every single week. You just can't do it. Especially in the Premier League, especially in Europe. You just cannot do it. And when we're falling behind, we're falling behind inside like 30 minutes because we're starting off so slowly and then having to put a lot of intensity into the second half. And it is just not going to work. At some point, it's something that's going to give, and we're going to start losing games, as is evident by the fact that, you know, when the bigger games, as we spoke about earlier, we haven't turned up because we go behind and we've got no belief that we're going to turn the game round. And it can't follow that pattern for the rest of the season. I don't think Conte is going to be our manager at the end of the season. I really don't.
Interesting prediction.
I think the only way Conte will leave is because he has a better job offer.
I mean, he's already gone on about money, isn't he?
Yeah.
I need money, I need more players.
Three times in the last week, in
he's on about it already.
pre-match press conferences, he's spoken about money.
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen. I think that he'll leave because he doesn't get what he wants. I don't think that we'll fire him unless stupid fans start getting involved and demanding, you know, like, we need Zidane, we need Guardiola, go and get Guardiola to manage us, you know, because fans are stupid. But
Would you take Pochettino back?
I don't think he should have gone in the first place.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
yeah.
agree with that.
I think
He did nothing wrong. He didn't get backed. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and I think he earned more than enough brownie points to be given way more time than he was given.
I mean, we went 2 transfer windows without spending a penny.
Yeah, and he did miracles in that time. And then when we did buy players, we didn't buy the players that he asked for.
Yeah,
and it was like,
we wanted Fernandes and we got Ndombele.
I know you wanted Fernandes, but here's Ndombele. You know, I know you wanted Dybala, but here's Lamela. He's Argentinian as well.
Lo Celso, right?
Pardon?
Lo Celso, right?
Lo Celso, not Lamela. Sorry, yeah, Lo Celso. I mean, they're both Argentinian, so you know.
Yeah, but you can't compare one with the other.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the thing is that he wasn't backed a lot, and like I know everyone says that he lost the dressing room. I kind of get that to a certain extent, but I think the hangover from the Champions League final was way heavier than people gave credit for.
I also think when he said that they lost the dressing room is because he was trying to move players on that didn't get moved on. For Tonga and Alderweireld and Eriksson, he wanted to move those 3 on. And they didn't get moved on, and that weakened his power in the dressing room because he was having to then turn to these players to plug gaps because he didn't get back during the summer.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that he lost like the entire dressing room. I don't think it was like a power play kind of thing, a la Chelsea or something like that. I don't think it was that kind of thing. I think it was more like I know that you don't want me here.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go and get myself injured for you. It's kind of like, and then the hangover from the Champions League final, I think, was way bigger than people gave it credit for.
Yeah. And
So I don't think he should have gone in the first place.
I think also the decision to start Kane in the Champions League final didn't sit well with the dressing room because it was clear that Kane wasn't fit.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think that was a mistake.
Moira worked miracles to get us there against Ajax. He deserved to start the game.
Yep.
Problem is what does that tell Moura? Like, oh my God, you're a hero, you're a hero. Okay, so you're going on the bench. It's like, well, what more can I do? What can I do to get a start in this team? I'm never going to start in this team.
Yep.
I think everyone knows that was a mistake. But I mean, I would say hindsight, but then I don't even think with hindsight that was a good. Without hindsight, I mean, even at the time, I was saying he shouldn't start him.
Yeah,
there's no way he should have started.
Yeah, I said the same thing. He was not fit enough to start. Maybe to come on second half if you're trying to change the game. But
for sure.
It's the same argument we had with England taking players and starting players that aren't fit.
Yeah.
And we did it in the biggest game of our season.
But to answer your question, do I think I would welcome him back? No. That's not I don't want him to come back. It's I don't think that's the right direction for us now.
And it never worked second time round.
Yeah. Don't meet your heroes and all that kind of thing. It's like don't.
The club's in a very different place to when he first took it over. It's a very different playing squad, set up to play a very different way than the way Pochettino plays, and it will take too much work.
Yeah, I think it will just be a mistake. So I don't want him back now, but not from I don't want him back because he's not good enough. Just I think it can only fail.
Yeah,
I don't see it succeeding, and I don't really see anyone better than Conte right now. I think that we should be putting our eggs in his basket. Giggity.
Okay.
I mean, who else would you go to right now?
Is Dan available?
Zidane's not going to go to Tottenham.
Zidane won't come to England. It rains too much, and his wife likes a hot country.
It's miserable, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and the women are ugly.
Like Zidane didn't go manage at Manchester United.
Yeah. I think he's made it clear. Like, I only want to coach in Spain. It's nice and warm.
He could have managed PSG, but he didn't go there either.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I thought he would have gone there, to be honest.
Honestly, Zidane's case, I think he wants to manage the national team, French national team. So most probably, what I'm assuming is that after the World Cup, they're going to fire that coach. They're going to hire Zidane. That's what I feel like is going to happen. Because a while ago, I think it was a post or something. It was like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm going to be back to the field to coach, blah blah blah, this and that." So he's like hinting on something, and I don't think he's going to come back to a club, to managing a club, because he always wanted to manage the national team. So it's either that or I don't know. I have this theory where he might go to Juventus for some reason. I don't know, because he used to play there, right? So he has this connection with the club.
It's a warm country.
So exactly, it's Italy. He's gonna eat the
pretty girls,
pizza and pasta.
Yeah,
it's a good shout. To be fair, I could see both. I could see either one happening. The French team definitely, especially if they have a poor World Cup.
Yeah,
could definitely see him going in there as to manage the French team if they have a poor World Cup, especially after the poor Euros that they had. That would make sense.
Yeah. It's either that or Juventus. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'd say that those are probably good shouts. I think those are. I would not be surprised to see either of those. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere else in Spain he'd go unless it was someone completely disconnected from the whole situation. But then you're talking about small little teams that
he won't manage in Spain. If he's been at Madrid, he won't go anywhere else.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to come here.
He understands the rivalry that exists around that top three in Spain. He won't do it.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think Juve or France is a good shout, but I don't know if Juve could afford him. That would be the only thing I would say.
I think they need to rebuild the squad as well. be honest.
I think they can afford them. It's just as Matt said, like they have to rebuild, and like rebuilding is going to cost them a lot of money because if Zidane comes, like I'm sure it's going to be like at least minimum 10 players. You guys need to get rid of them, minimum. So that's going to cost them money, and like they haven't been doing well neither in the league nor the Champions League. Like unless I don't know, they pull some miracle and win the Europa League. That's the only. That's the only money that's going to come in,
But that's not going to be a large amount of money compared to being in the Champions League.
Well, true, but I mean, sponsors and this and that, like.
So, does anyone feel that there's a player who's been a worst signing of the season that you think was a bad sign to begin with, or you think it started the season badly?
I'm just going to say every single 22 player that signed the Nottingham Forest.
I mean, that's an easy answer, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much the entire Nottingham Forest.
Lingard,
yeah. Lingard.
Diego Costa, I don't really get that signing. I think that's a bit of a...
It was free.
Fairly decent.
Free signing, experience.
Yeah, but how much sign-on fee and wages is he demanding, do you think?
Well, you're talking about Diego Costa. If you want to know something from today, I can tell you, which is quite funny.
Go on in.
He got sent off.
Yeah.
It's not that.
He's got that temper in him,
is it? Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been sent off before.
But that's what Diego Costa. I agree with you, Rich. To be fair, it was an odd signing, and he hasn't played that minutes for Wolves. Managed to get himself sent off.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is like it's the Portuguese element. I know he.
Well, they lost someone to long-term injury, and he's supposed to be like there to come and help him out, but he got himself sent off.
I just didn't see it as fitting. I thought that was a bit odd when I heard it, but yeah, I mean, Nottingham Forest is the easy answer pretty much anyway. Anyone at Nottingham Forest is a simple shout, really.
Okay, Guedes at Wolves.
Wolves again. Yeah.
I'd say Wolves
will be another one.
In general, I don't think they made any inspiring signings in the summer, to be honest.
Then maybe Coutinho at Villa. He hasn't done squat. Coming on a large amount of money, permanent deal.
I mean, to be fair,
nothing.
he was there last season as well, though, wasn't it? So would you really count that as a signing, or is that just a continuation?
Signing,
yeah, because it was a loan signing into a permanent signing. They've spent money on it.
Do you ever look at that as like a real signing, or is it just more like a continuation of last season, really? I mean, I don't really ever view that as a brand new signing, because it's like, well, you were at the squad last season.
Yeah,
it's a signing. Right, it's a signing.
I'm outnumbered on this.
It's a signing. Come on, it's a signing, man.
Play technicalities. It's a signing.
Fair enough. I've been outvoted. In my opinion, I wouldn't consider that because I don't see that as a signing. In my opinion, but
what about Darwin Núñez at Liverpool? What do you think about him?
He's a good signing.
Injured,
he's a good
signing.
Yeah, it's difficult to judge because
regarding Coutinho.
Yep.
Because I know we're going to switch the topic now. We're going to move into something else. So before we do that, Coutinho, I think the biggest mistake of his life was leaving Liverpool. Because as soon as there was like this whole rumors like he wants to go to Barca, this, that, I was like, don't do it. You're going to go to Barca. You're not going to play, and that's exactly what happened. He went there. He didn't play, making money. He even paid money from his own pockets, right, to make the deal happen. Going to Barca.
Yeah, to go. Because he paid something out to Liverpool, didn't he?
Best thing to ever happen to Liverpool, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He left at the wrong
Liverpool
time.
Were able to do what they did was to use the money from Coutinho, and so one thing they have done very well. Liverpool, to be fair, is how they invest.
Exactly. They know how to invest their money,
Yeah.
But he's not the first player that's gone for the big move straight away, the big massive move thinking this is my big break, is he? There's been loads of players.
Oh yeah, there's been many players that chased the money, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Yeah, it was a terrible decision for him in the end. But Eden Hazard at Real Madrid, same thing. Terrible decision for him.
Another one.
I mean, honestly, that's Hazard's
injuries.
Yeah, that's injuries.
Not just the injuries. Like, did you guys, once he got signed, okay? I think it was like pre-season.
He turned up overweight, didn't he?
Yeah, like, come on, man. He looked like R9, like how R9 looks now. the whole tummy and the waist.
Ouch. Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay. You can call him
Swear
Fat
to God,
Ronaldo. That's what we call him.
Yeah. That's what we call
Fat
it.
Ronaldo.
I think he called himself fat, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that's
think he did,
how we
yeah,
know
like, I'm
him.
Fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's one of
Not
those
fed up with
players that's like,
comparison.
hey, man, I stayed in shape while I was playing all that time. Now I'm not playing anymore. To hell with it. I don't want to train
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
you are actually correct. That is his mentality for it.
Yeah.
That he sacrificed all the time he was playing football, and now he just wants to enjoy his life. And
Like, I just
enjoy
want to
food.
eat burgers now, you know? I like
Yeah,
burgers.
pretty
I never
much.
ate a burger while I was playing, so...
I'm retired. Who the hell cares?
Have you guys heard of this thing called McDonald's? It's great. I recommend it. Neil Ruddock was another player like that,
Oh,
though.
yeah, Neil
He
Ruddock,
said
yeah.
that as well, but he was like,
Yeah,
mate,
yeah.
I trained 7 days a week for like 20 years and I stayed at a weight, and that was the weight I was staying at. Now I'm not playing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to drink beer. I'm going to eat kebabs.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah. But yeah, sorry, Eden Hazard. You were talking about Eden Hazard, sorry.
Yeah, so Hazard, like, once that happened, preseason, like, I want to use the F word right now, you know, but after the preseason, man, like, he messed his career up, you know? He came back overweight, and then, like, you have players like Vinicius Jr., who's trying to, like, who's trying to prove a point, you know? Like, I want to be a starting 11 player. I'm quick, I'm Brazilian, I'm this, I'm that, you know? So he's trying to get his place in the starting 11. You know, and then you have Rodrigo, you had Bale on the other side, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say
So-
Rodrigo. He's another player that plays in that same type of position. That's younger,
Yeah.
hungrier,
Exactly.
come through Madrid's youth system, and he wanted game time.
Exactly, because he was playing for Castilla, Madrid B, like
Yeah.
the B team, you know? So obviously he wanted to, like, he wanted to get the opportunity, you know? Whereas Hazard, he was like, you know what, I'm Eden Hazard. You know, like, everybody knows me by now. I'm going to be playing under Zidane, like, and that was his dream. He always said that, you know, it's my dream to play under Zidane. So that's what, like, kind of excited us, like, Madridistas, you know? We're like, yo, he's playing for his, like, dream coach, this, that. And the next thing you know, you look at him with his belly. I'm like, bro, like, are you serious, you know? Like, a player of your caliber, you get me? One of the best players of the Premier League, you know? Like, I mean, we can't say no to that. Like, we saw what he did with Chelsea, you know?
I mean,
then he
take
comes
out a
and
couple
shows
of
up-
seasons, but yeah, there was a couple of
He
seasons.
was one of the
where
best
he-
players in the Premier League.
Yeah,
though.
but
No, he was one of
there
the.
was a
Come on, man! Like,
couple of
he had the
seasons he
season
was
where he was. I
iffy.
don't know. Like, he was overpowered. Like, he was OP. You know.
Okay, but
Yeah.
if you're going to say that, then I would turn around and say, would you consider Gareth Bale to be one of the all-time Premier League greats?
No, I was just saying at that point he was one of the best Premier League players.
Yeah. Oh, at
Yeah,
that
that's what
point,
I'm
you're not
saying. At that
talking
point.
about
At that
like.
yes.
point, yeah, at that point.
Right. Okay. I thought
At
you were
that
like
point.
saying,
Never.
like, you know,
No,
no,
Premier
no,
League
no.
dream team, Gareth Speed kind of, you know,
No,
No,
argument.
Gareth
No, I
was
think-
something else, man.
Yeah, I think what Danny was just saying is that season before they went to Madrid, like the one
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Chelsea won the league and the one where
Yeah, okay.
like he scored to stop Spurs so Leicester could win the league. He was one of the best players in the Premier League at
Yeah,
that point.
okay.
Yeah, at that point, you know. I mean, and then he started training. Like, obviously, like, you're training at Madrid, you're not training at Leicester, you know. Like, the intensity is different, the whole game system is different, you know? And then 1, 2, 3, you get injured because of your weight. I'm 100% sure that it was because of his weight. You know, one injury led to the other, and we are where we are today. You know, you don't look after yourself, that's what's going to happen. You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Yeah.
He ruined his own
Yeah.
career. Like that's why, like, at first, like the first year or two, I was like, "Come on, man, why isn't he playing? You know, like, why isn't Zidane playing him? This and that. Like, give him a chance." But then, whenever he got his chance, he wasn't doing anything. Next thing you know, he's injured again. Obviously, he's doing something wrong. You know, off the field. Like that makes most sense to me as a coach. You know, if a player keeps on getting injured, like, that means there's something wrong going on, right? Either it's the training
Depends.
regime.
Because I think it can be very much like, speaking from experience, it can be very much like a situation of where one thing goes wrong and then it just avalanches into all sorts of
Exactly.
different things going wrong. So like
Exactly
I
that.
pick up one injury and then all of a sudden that stops me from doing this, and then I've got another two things on top of that, and then my back starts to hurt, and then my shoulders start hurting all the time because I'm not sleeping, and that's the problem. So I think
That's life, though, you know.
Yeah.
That's
I
life.
totally
That's how
agree
it
with
is,
you.
you get me?
But sometimes, like, you can be perfectly fine, and then you'll have that one injury, and then it just cascades from there. And then all of a sudden, you're the injury-prone guy. And it's like, I have
Exactly.
no idea what happened. Like, when I was younger, like, the crazy crap I used to do when I was younger, and I, like, walked away from that going, that could have been bad, couldn't it? And now it's like, I sit wrong in my chair. Yeah. Well,
I got that. Yeah, I was like, what on earth was that?
But yeah, now it's like I sit in my chair wrong for an hour, and then for 3 days I can't walk properly. You know, it's like
Amen to that.
yeah, like I know that life happens, but sometimes you just think Michael Owen's another example. Just one injury, and then it was just done and done and done and done.
But if you hear Owen speak, he said like with his hamstrings, there's 3 fibers in his hamstrings, and he was only ever running around with 2 of them, so he was a ticking time bomb.
I try not to listen to Michael Owen speak. He bores me.
No. Oh,
This is very true, but his voice bores me to tears. But
yeah, I try to mute him when he's talking. So. Anyone else want to say anything else? No, cool. I'm going to move us on then, gentlemen. So we are going to do the SITM Hall of Fame, and this time there might be a tiebreaker on here because Danny gets a vote as well now. So, gentlemen, this is a subject as we were talking.
Just quickly, who owns a tiebreaker? So if it's a 2-2 split, who owns the tiebreak?
I think it's going to be you this week.
Well, it's surely not the star of the show, you know.
No, I'm the host. I need to stay unbiased. I come up with the guys. You decide. It's going to be feeling this week, though. I promise you. So, so we're talking about the Premier League, and we're doing our predictions for this week. And this was inspired by a conversation that you and I, Tom, had a couple of weeks ago. So this week, gentlemen, we are going to be looking at 2 players that inspired the foreign explosion in the Premier League. And I want you to put someone into the Hall of Fame for me.
I think I know who these 2 players are going to be.
You probably do, because we had this conversation.
I can probably work out who one of them are.
So, this week's first choice, Eric Daniel Pierre Cantona.
Okay, that's not who I thought.
Was born on the
I thought it was, yeah.
Was born on the 24th of May, 1966 in Marseille, France. He began his playing career. Why did I cross that out? He began his playing career at Sol Calois as a goalkeeper. But his talent soon had him switch to an attacking position. His professional career began at Auxerre, making his debut in 1983. He played there for 5 years before moving to Marseille for a French record. Olympique Marseille for a French record fee of 22 million francs. Cantona was disliked at Marseille, and in 1991 was offered to Liverpool, who refused the offer. And he then went on trial at Sheffield Wednesday, who could not afford him. And so, in 1992, Eric Cantona arrived at Leeds United. He would stay at Leeds for only 10 months before making his final and most famous move to Manchester United for £1 million. And the rest, as they say, is history.
What a steal, eh?
Yeah. He played
for that money.
439 games, scoring 165 goals, being capped 45 times with 20 goals for France. He won 7 league titles, 8 domestic cups, 1 under-21 European Championship, 1 World Cup in beach football, 1 PFA Player of the Year award, 1... Hey, it's a World Cup, man.
I know, I forgot he was even in that.
1 PFA Player of the Year award, 1 Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year, 1 French Orns Player of the Year, inducted into the English and Premier League Football Hall of Fames. He was named in the FIFA 100 Greatest Living Players, named in PFA Team of the Century for the 20th century, number 10 in the French Player of the Century, and a UEFA President's Award.
He also had one of the greatest press conferences in Premier League history.
That kicks off this show, I might add. Yes, you may have heard that. So, or is it going to be, and also one of the greatest TV adverts in history as well?
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yeah, remember
Or will it be Dennis Nicholas Maria Bergkamp?
Oh,
Yeah, definitely. Oh, this is the top one, yo.
Who was born on the 10th of May, 1969, in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. He began playing football with Ajax and stayed with them throughout his entire youth career, making his professional debut in 1986, winning the Cup Winners' Cup in his debut season. He would stay with Ajax until moving to Italy in 1993, joining Inter Milan, where he would remain for 2 seasons, performing poorly in the Italian league, despite finding success in Europe. In June 1995, Arsenal would break their record transfer fee to bring Bergkamp to Highbury, initially failing to impress, but finishing the season in 5th with 11 goals. Once Arsene Wenger was appointed manager at Arsenal, Bergkamp united with him to become absolute forces in the English game. And he played in the infamous Invincibles team. He played 734 games, scoring 264 goals, and was capped 79 times, netting 37 goals. He won 4 league titles, 9 domestic cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup, 2 UEFA Cups, named Dutch Footballer of the Year twice, PFA Player of the Year, Football Writers Association Player of the Year, IFFHS World's Top Goal Scorer in 1992, 2 FIFA Player of the Year third places, and he's been inducted into the English and Premier League Hall of Fame. So, gentlemen.
Dennis Bergkamp! Dennis Bergkamp!
Also in our intro as well, yes. So, gentlemen, I throw this out to you. Discuss, debate, ask questions, but it's your choice. So this is why I said I think you're going to be the tiebreak, feeling.
Thanks.
So, yeah, discuss.
So I have. You think I'd be pretty biased here towards Bergkamp?
I mean, you usually are about all things
Well,
Arsenal, so yeah.
Before on this show, doing this Hall of Fame segment, I've gone against Arsenal before with Schmeichel.
Peter
and
Schmeichel, yeah,
David
you're
Seaman.
right, yeah.
But this time I feel that Bergkamp was the slightly better player than Cantona. I'm guessing you're all going to disagree with me. But I think on the world stage as a whole, I think Bergkamp contributed more than Eric Cantona.
Maybe on the pitch.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I would say maybe Cantona is more of an icon than Bergkamp is. I think Bergkamp is the better football player.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Gentlemen.
I am going to. I personally, I think for me, Bergkamp was probably the better player. Cantona had more of an impact initially, but his disciplinary record let him down, like across the board. He could have done so much more if he hadn't been disciplined.
Shut up.
What's going on here?
Let's hear from Danny first, because that would have been more interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, you're the host. You swing to him, right?
He just starts talking without any invitation. He's just like, I'm going to start talking.
I mean, let him go on.
You're the host.
Yeah, you might as well carry on now, feeling.
Well, there was a long period of silence, and I don't like long periods of silence.
I mean, you've already said he's probably the better player, so your pick is Bergkamp.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it boring.
There you go.
No, carry on with your point. Go on.
I just think Cantona's disciplinary record is probably what lets him down for me. Could have done so much more.
Had his moments.
Oh yeah, Bergkamp had his moments, but he didn't get banned for 9 months.
Oh no.
He
Or
actually
thrown
got
off the
banned in
French team.
France as well. Yeah, he got banned in
Yeah, he
France.
got
I
thrown
didn't
off the
write
French
down the
team, he
bans
got
because
banned in
everyone knows him.
France.
But he got
There
banned
was a
for
reason why
it was
Marseille wanted rid of him.
3 years he initially got banned for in France. That was then reduced to 10 months.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
What did you do?
He karate kicked a player.
So he had previous.
Yeah. I didn't know
Ooh,
that
he
until
got-
I read it, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know he'd done that before." But yeah, okay.
And he had a massive falling out with Benitez when he was French manager. Just think that stands against him. So
Gerard
I
Houllier.
would say Bergkamp.
Was it Gerard Houllier? Yeah. Oh yeah, Benitez.
Oh yeah, not Benitez. Not Benitez.
Ah,
sorry, Houllier.
They look alike. They were both Liverpool manager. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
close to
sorry.
that aspect, yeah.
Close enough.
Okay, so that's it. It's Bergkamp straight away. Danny, what do you think?
Okay, so I mean, I was a kid when both of them were still playing, you know. So obviously, I didn't know them back then. But
Yeah,
once I grew
he's
up, I
he's
started
like
watching their
10
videos.
years younger than us. I
Hold on,
forgot.
I was a kid when they were still
Yeah,
playing. What are you
but
talking-
he was probably like 3 or 4 when they were playing.
Nah, come on, not 3 or 4, man. Oh, okay, hold on. When Arsenal,
When were you born?
yeah, I
Dan?
might have been like, I'm born in 1995.
85.
95.
Oh, 95. Oh, right. Sorry. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you just say?
So
85?
yeah, you would have been about 5 when the Invincibles.
Yeah,
So 6, 2001, right?
So you might remember
Yeah,
the tail end of
2001.
Bergkamp's career, right?
Yeah. So you didn't see. So yeah, you were 2 when Cantona retired. So yeah, no, not 3 or 4, not 3 or 4. No, you were younger.
I was 2. Yeah. You have to put it like that, huh? Yeah.
Wow.
Go on, sorry.
So yeah, like I've seen their videos though, you know, like I've seen how they play, this and that. But honestly, to me, Bergkamp, he was on a different level, man. Like the goals that he had, like he had this trick shot, like I can't forget it, you know. When the ball comes to him back against the defender, he just flicks it, turns, and like that flick turn that he has, like that's just iconic, you know. To me, it's Bergkamp, man.
Say that
Even
somebody
though
didn't bring up. Amount of
Cantona was a
badass.
badass, you know. Cantona was like the badass type of player, like a Zlatan kind of player, you know.
Mhm.
But Bergkamp was different, man. Like he was an artist, you know.
I was surprised by that feeling. You didn't ruin anything, so well done.
Okay, but moving forward, whoever has a tiebreak goes last. We'll just set that as a rule.
Yeah. I think that should be the rule in future.
Yeah, right. So we'll make that expectation. Like, just set it clear now. Whoever has a tiebreak, you go last.
Yeah, it's not always going to be that clear cut though. Like Man U, Arsenal. So sometimes
If
it might
I
not
did
be.
like on my top 5 goals ever, I think Bergkamp would be at least 3 of those. Probably.
3 of them, probably. Yeah.
If I had to think,
There
really
is
think
definitely
about
a
it.
Dennis Bergkamp goal in my top 5.
The Argentina goal was just
yeah.
something special.
That one.
Yeah.
One of the goals against Leicester. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Newcastle goal when he flicked the ball.
The Newcastle goal. My Bergkamp goal was the Newcastle
defender.
goal. Where he flicked the ball
Those
round
three.
and ran round.
I think that's the goal that Danny was talking about as
Yeah, it
well.
is,
That
yeah.
with the flick
That
turn,
flick,
wasn't
man,
it?
like
The flick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I was surprised by that result, but
I am too.
Dennis Bergkamp, yeah, you go flying in. Get it? Because he hates
Unanimous
flying.
decision.
Yeah. He hates flying. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it?
Yeah,
You-
you got it.
You go flying in like a jet plane, soaring off into the skies, into the Sacked in the Morning Hall of Fame with a pretty clear result. Unanimous. So very well done. Let's clap after Tom says something.
Didn't get your opinion.
You want my opinion?
Yes.
Let's applaud him in first and then I'll give you my opinion. Ready? Dennis Bergkamp, congratulations.
Yeah, well done, Bergkamp.
My opinion was Dennis Bergkamp as well.
I'm very surprised. I was expecting you all to go for Cantona.
I agree with a mixture of you and Tom. A mixture of all 3 of you, to be honest with you. I think Eric Cantona was a bit of a badass. that gave him a more of an iconic presence.
Yeah.
But just didn't quite live to the max of that. I think he wasted a lot of his career. Had he been Eric Cantona at Man United throughout his entire career, then yeah. I mean, like I said in here, there was even a point where like teams didn't want him. They were like, you know, I mean, he was being offered when he was at Marseille to teams like, do you want him? Because we don't want him. Do you want him? Do you want him? And teams are saying,
yeah,
like,
they just wanted him off the books, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
That tells you that someone in terms of the breakdown of that relationship, if they are literally just saying, take him off our hands, we don't want him anymore.
Yeah. So as an icon,
that was in the era before free transfers and into contracts and that sort of thing.
I don't think the Bosman had even been a thing by that point, had it?
No, it wasn't.
Mid-90s.
It wasn't like a player could run his contract. You could run a player's contract out and then they leave. You were stuck with them.
Yeah. Which I think's weird. I mean, how do they police that?
I don't know. That's a different time.
I no longer have a contract with you, but you can't leave.
Yeah,
how's that?
I can't go talk to that club over there because although my contract's run out, you're still tied to me. Like when you say it out loud, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it took until the 90s for that to not be a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, but yeah, iconic status. Cantona has Bergkamp beat all day long. I think as an icon, yeah, Eric Cantona is leaps and bounds ahead of Dennis Bergkamp, I think, on that front. Because, no offense, but Dennis Bergkamp is a bit boring. He's
very plain Jane, isn't he?
Have you ever heard him speak? It's just yes, it was good. He's the James Milner of the Netherlands.
His nickname was the Iceman.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So that should tell you a little bit.
Tells you what you really need to know about it.
But yeah, as a player, yeah, I think Bergkamp was something special. I think, yeah.
Talking about this, I just remembered something.
Yeah.
Cantona, I think he had I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was like the Ballon d'Or or like Champions League. When they do like the group stages and stuff, like the draw.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was. Like while he was talking there, with his hat, he was like it was so irrelevant. He was like,
yeah.
I wish the I don't know what he was saying, man.
Oh, that was a famous thing about Cantona, though, wasn't it? He talked out of rubbish
riddles
and nonsense.
Yeah,
people
like
were
it was
like, "What are
irrelevant
you
to
going
the
on about?"
topic.
Yeah,
like he was
that
like
is because
world peace or world something like energy. Like I don't know what the hell he was saying.
I like his beer adverts.
Restez là, toi.
Yeah, you a farmer? Oui.
The Assassin. Yeah, I mean, if Hall of Fame was based on like identity, then Cantona would go in for the advert alone, for the Nike advert.
Yeah, true, exactly.
That was just that, and then the 1998 World Cup advert were my two favorite sports adverts of all time. The
Yeah.
Wasn't Cantona also
was
in
it
that
Brazil
advert?
playing football in the airport, wasn't it?
It was loads of teams playing in the airport, wasn't it? But it was Ronaldo who took the final shot. Fat Ronaldo, who took the final shot and he hit the post, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Wasn't Cantona also in that advert when they were all playing in a cage? And he was
that advert.
Was it that advert?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I thought you were talking about the.
Oh no,
that's the Nike advert.
Oh right, no. Yeah. They're playing in like a five-a-side.
Five-a-side.
Oh yeah, that was
in the world. Yeah.
That was another World Cup advert. Was that a World Cup advert or a Pepsi advert?
It was a Pepsi or a World Cup advert.
Yeah, I think it was Pepsi.
Yeah, it might have been a Pepsi advert.
And then there was another Nike advert that I really liked, where you saw it from the player's point of view, where he signs for Arsenal. Do you remember that one where he's playing and then Arsene Wenger comes to scout him and then he plays for Arsenal
Vaguely.
and then he plays against Man U and he gets put on his arse and Ronaldo's like in his face like that, isn't it? Do you remember that advert?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good advert as well. But we're not here to talk about adverts anyway. So anyway, yeah, Dennis Bergkamp into the Hall of Fame.
He was a hero of mine when I was getting into football. You know, I had his name on the back of my shirt. You know,
Yeah.
back in day.
That's all for this week, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. So let's go round the table. Thank you very much, Danny.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure being here. Honestly, first of many, I'd say.
Yeah,
It was really fun.
yeah, we look
It was
forward to
nice talking
seeing you
about
again.
football.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Honestly, I appreciate it a lot.
No
Till
worries.
next time.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Phelan.
Cheers, guys. Been a pleasure as always.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tom.
That's okay.
And from the star of the show,
The start of the show. Hold on.
what? What are we holding on?
Drum beat, please.
Yeah, go on.
Drums.
Come on, everyone. Hype me up. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, Danny, you've been great. Thanks for coming.
Oh,
Thank you.
cuts my legs out from under me at the last minute.
The new star has arrived.
My
That's
heart
it, yeah.
is breaking. No, thanks for joining me, guys, and thank you very much for listening. We'll see you again next time, where I'm sure we will be discussing the 1994 World Cup, because that's how much of a pulse that our finger is on.
Hey, I'd be very happy to discuss the 94 World Cup.
Thank you very much for listening. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.
This has been a Rich T Entertainment production. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, why not leave us a like and a comment? You can also check out some of our great podcasts. Just search for Rich T Entertainment wherever you listen to your podcasts, or click the link for our top pick. Thanks for watching.